It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're Valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're Valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another IdahoSports.com broadcast here from District 2. Tonight, we've got the hometown Moscow Bears, and we've got the visiting Lewiston Bengals. Folks, good to be back with you. My name's Garrison Hardy, and in the booth with me, as always, is the coach, Jason Hanson. Jason, good to be back with you.
Always fun to be under the lights on Friday.
That's right. It's Game 9 on the Palouse, brought to you by P1 FCU here on IdahoSports.com. And Jason, just last week we covered a very exciting game down in Lewiston as they took on Sandpoint and got the win in overtime.
Yeah, it was a great matchup, and Lewiston got up on them and kind of stung them early. They were up 26-3, and then Sandpoint was able to claw back in it and make it a heck of a game. Had it tied up at overtime, obviously, and then Lewiston had to come through and get their extra point. We talked about it earlier in the game, and then they got theirs and prevented Sandpoint from getting theirs, and awesome game.
The rest is history, and the final score of that one was Lewiston 40, Sandpoint 38. And again, an interesting storyline from that game was a year ago exactly, almost and a day, Sandpoint defeated Lewiston the year prior, 42-41. So back-to-back overtime contest between the two schools. And Jason, do you think there's a chance for maybe a bit of a letdown from Lewiston after a big emotional win like that? Two great teams, and then you come into this game. Do you think that there's a possibility for that?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure that Coach Pancari is telling his dudes, you know what, 1 week at a time, every week's a good week. These guys are going to be hungry, but they have some big league matches coming up for themselves. So this is a great night for Moscow to try and get off the schneid a little bit and see if they can't flex a muscle.
And speaking of Moscow, we had sad news as the athletic director passed away here at Moscow, and there was a touching moment of silence before the national anthem tonight. So maybe something a little bigger to play for tonight for the Bears.
Yeah, and our hearts go out for them. Anytime you have that kind of event, anytime, the kids are going to be in it, coaches are going to be in it. So the whole community of Moscow is going to be part of it. And you still got to play football and go through all those things. The kids are wearing some pink armbands in support of the Abendroth family. So, like I said, heart goes out to them. But let's get to some football here, and coach is going to be after him a little bit, Bayfus, and just say, okay, we got to flex some muscle, and what the heck? Let's play a non-leaguer, and we got them on the schedule, and let's go battle.
Well, speaking of the non-leaguer that's on the schedule here, the Lewiston Bengals. Jason, you and I have covered them a couple times already this season, and they're off to a hot start. They started the season with a loss to a team out of Utah that, like you and I have talked about, they were already played a couple of games leading into that game, and it was a good contest. And ever since, Lewiston has won 4 straight games coming into tonight's matchup. So they are obviously hoping to continue with that momentum.
Yeah, and I'm sure Coach Pancari, they have their sights set on not just getting to the playoffs, but let's do some damage in the playoffs and keep spitting and polishing their guys. We saw new wrinkles last week against Sandpoint. I'm sure we're going to see some new wrinkles tonight. Get some young guys in different positions and see if you can't find a diamond in the rough.
And so on the Moscow side of things, the season has not gone to plan thus far. They are currently 0-5 on the season. And Jason, if you're on the sideline with Coach Bafis, what do you think he's telling the guys?
I'm pretty sure Coach Bafis is thinking the long game. I mean, he's a great coach. He had a lot of success in the 1A level with Troy, and I respect the heck out of him. And I just know that he's thinking, okay, let's not burn down the ship here. Let's just keep getting it righted 1 week at a time. And what can we build off of? And last week they had a pick six from a defensive lineman, outside linebacker, and so he's thinking, okay, well maybe the defense might, let's see if we can get some wrinkles going there. And the offense needs to obviously keep picking up their pace and special teams as well. So I'm sure he's just thinking, okay, baby steps, and think the long game. All of their season is backloaded also. The games they have to win are at the end, and so just be ready for those games as best you can.
And last time these two teams squared off was last year on October 1st, 2021. And wouldn't you know it, we're just about almost a year to the day just this week, too. Lewiston did come out with a win in that one, 48-13. But as we know, these games are not played on paper. So we've got ourselves a good contest here, 4A and a 5A, about set to go underway. Now, Jason, we've talked about the teams overall. Who are a couple players that you're excited about? Let's go ahead and start with Lewiston, the visitors.
Lewiston looks like they're going to be getting the ball here in just a smidge. And Hottinger has been hot. We saw Ricard, their backup quarterback, come in and do some cool things as well. So they spread the ball around. They had 5 guys with 3 or more carries and 30 or more yards. And so they're just doing damage by the by the depth chart as well as receivers. They had 4 different guys catch touchdowns last week, and so they're just spreading the ball around and getting athletes out in space. And so it's going to be fun to watch. We could spend all pregame just highlighting what they got going on.
And then for the Moscow Bears, the hometown Bears, who are the guys they're going to be relying on to take down the mighty Bengals?
Yeah, they're going to start with Noah Velasco at quarterback, and he's a sophomore, and so you got to make sure he gets comfortable. I'm sure by now they got a couple of things and wrinkles in practice and games that they really like, and so they're going to get Logan Tate in space, Michael Kiblin in space, and Toby Fry in space, and so it's going to be one of those where they're also going to be trying to figure out, okay, so who can do what when, and how do we build some success, getting some first downs and playing the long game, the small ball.
And, folks, we want to thank our power booster here for Moscow, Shorts Funeral Chapel. So I thank you for your sponsorship here on IdahoSports.com. And just a reminder, brought to you by our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valley-Wide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps, Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. And last week, you guys got to hear the Idaho Department of the Idaho Transportation Department. They are our new sponsors of the IdahoSports.com Player of the Game. And last week, it was one of these Lewiston Bengals, Briggs Duman.
Yeah, bringing some defense in an offensive game. So, he came away with 2 picks, and so I'm sure he's thinking, okay, I got a streak started. Let's go ahead and do it a couple more times. And look at old Garrison out here trying to highlight the defenders with the ball.
Well, it's like you said, we can't pick Hottinger every week. He had a great week last week, and right now we just got the kicker lined up out there, so he's going to play the game himself.
Yeah, there you go. What the heck.
And, folks, if as the game progresses tonight, you can see some of the players wearing those pink wristbands on the field. That is, of course, in memory of the Moscow athletic director here. And then some of the fans, too, scattered throughout. Just a great way to honor his memory.
Well, and it's only 30 miles between these two schools, and they match up on everything, volleyball, basketball, baseball. One's a 5A, one's a 4A, so it's going to be one of those where this is kind of big brother, little brother, and obviously Moscow is going to be thinking, oh, come on now, we're more like twins. So there's going to be a little bit of a grudge match here.
So we are about set for kickoff here for the Lewiston Bengals. They typically have the likes of, that would be number 4, Braden Rice, and then number 11, Jared Jelinek. They will likely be the ones coming out to receive here. And then Moscow will be kicking. So the Bengals will start with possession for tonight's game, and Moscow will obviously be receiving to start the second half. Tonight's game officials here, District 2 game officials, Dan Davenport, the head referee, the umpire, Paul Elston, linesman, Jamin Udi, field judge, Ryan Lawrence, and the back judge, Dave Backen. And these names are very familiar for us, Jason.
Yeah, hats off to those guys. They want to keep us on a good, tight schedule, and they always seem to be looking at their clocks thinking, okay, slow down, boys. We got a little time here, and they want it to be straight up 7, so that way all the popcorn gets sold before the kickoff.
And both teams are out on the field ready for the opening kick. Again, the Lewiston Bengals come into this game with a record of 4-1. The Moscow Bears 0-5, hoping to get their first win of the season here with something bigger to play for. Set to kick for the Bears is number 20, Tanner Feely, the sophomore. Back deep to receive, Braden Rice, Jared Jelinek. Here we go, Friday Night Lights, game night on the Palouse, brought to you by P1FCU. It's taken by Jared Jelinek at the 15. He's up past the 30. He tries to get to the sideline, runs into his teammate, and he's brought down out of bounds by a group of Bears.
Yeah, that's that emotion. We talked about it before with the pregame, and nice job by their kickoff crew just making sure they get rallied up around the ball and don't get stung. We've seen Lewiston return a couple of those for big gains and a couple to the house, so nice job just setting a tone right off the bat early this game.
Now, to the fans at home who haven't seen one of our broadcasts, they're about to witness the Lewiston Go offense. Jason, tell me a little bit about this offense.
Well, they just like to set a really fast pace, and it's going to mean that Garrison has to do all the talking, and they're just going to be right back on the ball. They have some pre-scripted things that they've seen on film, and they're going to want to take advantage of Moscow right off the bat.
So 1st and 10 for the Bengals. Ball spotted at the 35-yard line. It's snapped over the head. First play of the game, and Drew Hottinger just has to fall on it. That could have been a disastrous start for the Bengals.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that Moscow needs to build off of. Just getting a free couple of yards right there. It looks like a whole bunch of yards, actually. And here they are right back on the ball.
And another bad snap, and once again, 2 bad snaps to start the game, and suddenly we're looking at 3rd and almost a mile.
Yeah, and that's really one of those where, again, Moscow's got to hang in here because you just got to play down and distance. Just force them to punt.
So 3rd and incredibly long for the Bengals. Ball's inside their own 10. Hottinger, it's going to be a screen play here, and they've got some space. This is at the 20, the 25, and finally thrown out of bounds. He got nearly back to the original line of scrimmage, but that was 3rd and a mile. Chris Ricard was on the reception there.
Yeah, nice job by the fakes on that. The camera guy was all over the place trying to figure out where the ball was, and so the defense wasn't fooled as much as I was, and they were right on top of it. So
now Hottinger will likely kick this here. Quarterback kick, and it is an end-over-end line drive, and it bounces off of the Moscow. Well, it looked like it from here, but apparently Moscow will take over. So
quick feet, just trying to get out of there. You know, you do all those crazy drills in the summer, and he didn't get to any contact. Lewiston kid didn't think so. The referee didn't think so. Moscow gets to get going here on the first offensive possession.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 after somewhat unfortunate events for the Lewiston Bengals on offense there, and I'm sure they'll be getting that cleaned up on the sideline there. Lewiston in the white and yellow helmets, and then Moscow, the hometown Bears, in the black and red uniforms here. It's going to be left to right. In the gun is number 10, Valesco, who's going to hand this off to the right side. And that goes nowhere on the halfback sweep. That was number 5, Michael Kiblin, on the carry.
And nice job trying to get Kiblin out here in space with a little speed, but Lewiston had probably seen that on film a couple of times and had it corralled and out of bounds pretty quick.
Loss of 3 on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd and 13. Now, very different paces for both of these squads tonight for Moscow. They're slowing the tempo down as number 11, Alex Thrall, makes his way onto the field and replaces number 4, Connor Isaacson. And then on the other side for Lewiston, it is just go, 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 no rest for the weary. So it's going to be a battle of tempo tonight. Trips on the far side of the field. Valesco in the pistol. He's got a back behind him and 1 wide receiver here on the near side of your screen. Valesco fires it over to the left side of the field. That's caught. That's Kiblin. And he's got the first down, and he's pushed out of bounds. Pickup of 15 on the play.
Well, and that shows his speed and space right there. They handed it to him one time, then this time they kind of throw out a little screen, like you said, had some blockers in front of him. I like this pace for Moscow. If you're holding the ball, it's hard for the Lewiston offense to get going and build up that momentum. So nice job just being methodical and giving Garrison some time to speak.
That's right. 1st and 10, much appreciated. Ball spotted at the 47-yard line, we'll call it. Shotgun look this time as it's up the middle this time. And he's got a hole. He's got a crease. That's number 23, Toby Fry. And that's another first down, back-to-back first downs for the Bears.
Well, nice job by Fry right there, just heading north-south. Really on this field it's east-west, but just getting straight ahead. You have that big defensive line we've highlighted a number of times, and they got those big bear paws or Bengal paws trying to get a hold of him, but he just runs right through him and gets a nice first down. Nice job by Moscow offensive line.
1st and 10 now, ball on the 38-yard line. They're in Lewiston territory for the first time on the night. 3 wide receivers in the set here, 2 backs in the backfield, and then it looks like Valesco is going to be under center for the first time. Lewiston showing pressure on defense. They're going to bring it. They're going to hand this one to Kiblin, who finds a hole for a moment, but then he's brought down by the entire front 7 of the Bengals.
Yeah, that's pretty tough sledding right there. Nice job blocking initially, like you said, but you know that Lewiston must be 40 to 50 pounds heavier across the front than they are, and so it's pretty hard, especially when the back and everybody's right up next to the line. If you get any push at all, it's going to change their route, and they're going to have to reroute as they hand the ball off and try and get yards.
And Jason, as we've noticed in our time covering Lewiston, they have an excellent front 7. That really is the strength of their offense and defense, really, is their ability to overpower generally whoever they play against.
Yeah, and Coach Pancari highlights that often both with us and other media, and it's just one of those where you're just slowly building that in the weight room.
3 down linemen for the Bengals here. 2 backs over the top of that. Motion from the Bears from left to right. Valesco looking, and he is drilled from behind, and that's the first sack of the game. That was number 57, I believe, from Lewiston. It's kind of hard to tell with their jerseys here. We'll call it 58, Nate Renzelman.
Yeah, and just on cue, there's Renzelman from his defensive line position coming through and blasting him, and gets them off schedule now, where they're doing a nice job of setting a slow pace, which helps Moscow out. But when you're 3rd and long and you're a little bit inexperienced against a more experienced group, that can be a little bit rough.
And number 2, Butch Kiblin checks into the game. The sophomore wide receiver, younger brother of Michael Kiblin. Trips on the near side of the screen here. And then on the far side, there's 1 wide receiver. Pistol formation here for the Bears. And that's going to be a quick slant route to the far side. It's caught. And it's near a first down. That was number 3, Logan Tate, the senior wide receiver, standing at 6'3". And that's going to make it, if that wasn't a first down, it's going to be very close. It is 4th and short.
Right, we do have the fist, but I bet they're going. I like the idea of just get yards, boys. Don't try and dance in the hole. Don't wait till them to all rally up against you. You just see them catch the ball, secure the ball, and they just head for yardage. In just under 8 minutes here in the first quarter, Moscow's moving the ball, but this is an important 4th down.
Valesco under center here, 2 backs behind him. Valesco's going to keep it himself and try to QB sneak it, but it looks like Lewiston pushed him back. We'll see where they spot this.
Well, I'm not nitpicking the officials here, but it looked like one guy was giving him the first, the other guy wasn't.
And that's a turnover on down, so that successful drive for the Bears is stopped. Turnover on downs. Here come the Lewiston Bengals, and that was a big stop.
Not to interrupt you here, but I think the officials want to take a peek at this. The teams look like they're ready to switch possession, but they do want to bring out the chains, which gives Moscow a little bit of time to get their guys rested and get ready for this high-speed offense. But maybe they get to maintain possession. Like we said, it looked like one guy was judging it by the initial push. The other guy was saying, okay, the defense got him pushed back, and he was still fighting, and so it's going to come down to which spot was the correct one, and they have a better vantage points than we do. And here comes Dan Davenport's crew with the white hat here.
And the chain gang makes their way out onto the field. We'll see where the spot is, and it looks well short from here.
And they kind of tricked the crowd. They kind of had a position right above the ball, and they were like, all right. And then, okay, never mind. But that was a nice possession for Moscow for sure, just getting yards and maintaining 4 minutes off the clock and doing a lot of nice things that they can build off now on offense.
Maybe, if anything, just instilling some belief in their guys on that side. Hey, we can move it against this Lewiston defense. Now, here comes the high-powered Lewiston Bengal offense. Here comes the go-go. 1st and 10, and they got a good snap that time. They hand this one up the middle, and he powers his way forward, but the Bears are quick to respond. They're not in hibernation mode, that's for sure.
Yeah, and again, that's a nice job of rallying up. If you're a little bit outweighed by the other team, you better all show up about the same time, and they did a nice job of doing that. Again, a little bit rattled up there with the snaps, but they're slowly getting better.
That was Chris Ricard on the carry. Hottinger, he's got a wheel route wide open, and it's caught. He's out past the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. And if there's no flags, that's going to stand for the first touchdown of the night. The Lewiston Bengals straight first.
That is a nice job right there. And again, we've highlighted a number of times the blocking by Lewiston receivers for each other. Like you mentioned, he was just kind of picking his way through and waiting for assistance, and it showed up, and they were able to blast it right in there. So excellent effort there on that touchdown.
And now we've got a field goal attempt here. This is number 21, Jackson Lathan, who... Oh, that's Cole Arlant, who's actually going to be kicking this one. It was Lathan last week. And that one is no good. So after that quick drive, just 2 plays, and the Bengals strike first, 6-0. What an excellent start to after a couple bad snaps on the opening possession. The Bengals got it together, Jason.
Yeah, they were. We've kind of talked about them kind of picking you apart with speed and all of that, and they kind of just got tired of it and went ahead and threw it over the top, like you said, with the wheel route. And again, it looked like number 4. Man, these yellow numbers on white jerseys are tough to read for old people. But Braden Rice doing a nice job blocking downfield and got him for the touchdown.
Folks, make the memories last just a lifetime by owning the digital game file of this game for just $9.95. Click the button in the top right to order on IdahoSports.com. And hey, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Get updates, breaking news, pictures, and more. Click the icons on the top left to follow us now. Again, and by the way, we've got a lot of football games across the state going on right now. You can check on Friday Night Flash. Jason and I will be bringing you some updates throughout the game tonight. But you may as well just stick here because we're the best in the biz.
There you go. That's right. Friday night on the Palouse.
That's right. Brought to you by P1FCU. And so set to kick for the Bengals is going to be number 49, Kyson Barden. At least he was last week. And again, these white and yellow number combos not friendly to us broadcasters. Back deep to receive. I can't make out either, but there's a couple of Bears down there. Trust me. We've got number 5. I know that's Michael Kiblin. And then on the other side, that looks like number 20, Tanner Feely. We'll just go with that. And this one is kicked deep. And it's going all the way back into the end zone, and that right there is Kyson Barden's specialty. He's got a lot of touchbacks on the season. And, Jason, that's a weapon when it comes to field position.
It is, and we talked about that quite a bit last week with when you have momentum going and you're able to score and then force their offense to go 80 yards and start from a stop, and it gives your kickoff team a little time to relax, especially considering all these guys, or most of these guys, are going to be playing 2 ways, maybe 3 ways if you count special teams. So it kind of takes the pressure off some of those guys to have to run down there 14 times and either block or tackle.
So here come the Bears, led by quarterback. That's Noah Valesco, the sophomore. He's got trips to the near side and then 2 receivers on the far side, 5 total in the formation, and it's just going to be a quick hitch, and it's incomplete. His intended target was number 23. That's Toby Fry. And Jason, sometimes you got to be ready to find the ball quickly. It could be in the air just as you turn around.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that defensive line from the Bengals already playing a role, and I think it's one of those where Valesco is thinking, okay, I got to get rid of it fast. And I don't know if Fry was ready for that, but like you said, it's probably one of those they're talking about it in the huddle going, okay, they're coming fast at me. It's going to be coming fast at you.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion. And the Bears once again in the pistol with trips to the far side. Man-to-man coverage from the Bengals. More of a zone look. Pressure being shown right up the middle. And there's a flag. False start is the call. So that Lewiston Bengal that was charging the line of scrimmage, he did not enter the neutral zone.
He did not, but he also kind of startled them to try and maybe make a response to that. I think that was 34 Tyler Granlund who was kind of getting up on there on his horse, trying to get in there and made the offensive lineman nervous.
Now we're looking at 2nd and 15 after the 5-yard penalty for the Bears. Again, same exact formation, likely the same play call. And Lewiston, we'll see if they do the same thing on defense. They only bring 4. And that play is blown up. Excellent push there from the defensive front of Lewiston. We talk about him all the time, Jason.
Yeah, and there's number 0 down there at the bottom with the ball carrier with underneath him, and that's Robert Storm. So we already saw a sack earlier by number 56, or 58 rather, Renzelman, and then here's Storm getting his big moment. So again, that defensive front, it takes a lot of pressure off your cover guys if you're getting sacks every possession. So we have 6:30 left in the first quarter, and the Moscow's in the shadow of their end zone.
Checking back in is number 4, Connor Isaacson for the Bears. 5 wide receivers in the set, 3rd and 17, we'll call it. Man-to-man coverage across the formation for the Bengals. Valesco being pursued by 3 Bengals. He's got to throw it short, and it's incomplete, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, and maybe just happy to have an incomplete there because the defender was right there to make a play potentially, but nice sure tackle, or I should say at least sure defense, and forcing them to play field position and probably punt here considering you're pushed back near your goal line.
4th and 17 from ball spotted at the 23-yard line. So Lewiston has great opportunity here with Braden Rice back deep to receive to get some great field position depending on how this punt goes. And it is almost blocked. This one goes end over end, and it takes a favorable Bears roll. But that right there is only going to be a 27-yard punt. And so Moscow's going to start things off at the 40-yard line, already in Moscow territory.
Yeah, and that's one of those where I think the rusher there was thinking, gosh, I almost had either whether it be a safety or a touchdown there, and puts Lewiston's offense in great field position, and Moscow has to respond.
Now, it looked like he pulled up when he was going for the block, but that's honestly could be a smart play. If you miss the ball, hit the punter, first down. And there's the fake handoff there. This is Hottinger who keeps it himself and stumbles forward close to the first down marker. A flag did just come in late.
Yeah, that's that misdirection, and about the only time they ever slow down is when there is a penalty, and this looks like holding on the offense, so they'll be pushed back. But they really like to get things revved up and having backs in all kinds of different formations, some ghost motion in front of you, and then they do some counter, and then the quarterback ends up with the ball anyway. So it gets to be a whole bunch of stuff to look at.
What would have been a 2nd and 3 is now a 1st and 20 after a 10-yard penalty, and the Bengals will set up shop. Ball spotted at the 48-yard line. Moscow's got 3 down linemen and 4 backers over the top. And Jared Jelinek, he's going to try to get the sweep to the outside, but he's brought down from behind. Good pursuit from the likes of number 32. That's Scotty Needham.
Yeah, nice job there by the defender. We talked about all kinds of motion, and this time they gave it to Jared Jelinek, but defender wasn't having it.
And just like that, they're running another play. Hottinger steps up into the pocket and delivers a strike. And this is Lathan, who's out past the 30, and he's brought down out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
Excellent recognition by the receiver right there. That might have been number 4, Rice. Mm-hmm. And nice job just sitting right down in your window in that zone and being an opportunity to catch the ball and run.
And that's a first down, so they wipe away that holding penalty. Hottinger rolls right, and he's got blockers in front as he tries to get to the outside. He's pushing his linemen in front of him, and Hottinger lowers the shoulder, and he has a first down and then some.
Yeah, and those offensive linemen kind of bring a little grumpiness as they come barreling down the sideline there. Almost a modified student body right there.
So 1st and 10, and the Bengals are in the red zone for the first time tonight. They've got 2 wide receivers to the far side. They run the same exact play. Hottinger tries to get to the outside, has a couple blockers in front, and we'll see where they spot this. It's going to be inside the 10.
Yeah, and he doesn't mind putting his body on the line. He's not really a traditional pocket guy. He likes to go ahead and lower his shoulder and get a touchdown.
So we're looking at 2nd and goal here. Hottinger in the gun, takes the snap, and it's a sweep to the left side, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Bengals. That's now 2 scores on the board for Lewiston.
Yeah, and that's a nice job right there. We saw Hottinger get his chances. I think that was 24, James White right there, just barreling it right in the end zone. We talked about it being a lot of misdirection and all kinds of running backs. You got to take advantage of your turn, and he did that, just that.
So kicking is number 10. That's Cole Arlant. Snap is good. Hold is good. Kick is up. And it's good. So Lewiston adds the point after touchdown to make the score 13-0 in favor of the Bengals.
Yeah, and Moscow came out possession ago, kind of chewing up some clock. Now that's that Lewiston offense really coming alive. So it'll be interesting to see if Lewiston does the same thing, kick it deep, make them play offense for a really long time, and see if you can't just win the field position game.
Folks, once again, we just want to thank the Power Booster for the Moscow Bears. That's Short's Funeral Chapel here in Moscow. And then our army of Idaho sports action photographers are covering games all over the state. We've revamped our galleries to make it even easier to find and order your favorite action shots. Just go to IdahoSports.com and click the Action Photos link in the menu. And if you follow us on social media, you can see that there are already some great shots. I saw some soccer photos up there the other day, and they do great work. So
I was just going to say, and if you have that skill set, they're always looking for folks. If you're already at the game, you're watching Post Falls versus Lakeland, and you're interested in taking some photos, I'm sure that they'd love to talk to you. So not only are they available to purchase and get a hold of and peruse, but also if you're interested in doing those kinds of things, they're always looking for help.
So if you want to go to the games for free and watch your kids and take pictures of only your kids. And Kiblin on the return is brought down again, close to the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's tough sledding because you really just got it where the ball would have been spotted if had it gone into the end zone. But nice job by the Moscow blockers trying to get him some yards and keep him protected.
So 1st and 10 for the Bears as number 10, their quarterback, Noah Valesco, makes his way out onto the field to start this drive. And, again, the first drive for the Bears was a pretty successful one. They picked up a couple first downs, got into Lewiston territory. Last drive, not quite as much. We'll see what they can do here. So we got trips to the near side of the field, one wide receiver on the far side. Lewiston shows 4 rush. And it's going to be a screen play to the far side of the field. And he's wide open. He's got space. He's into the secondary and brought down past the 50-yard line. Mark him down at the 46.
That's awesome. And that's a great job. You got all that defensive pressure we talked about. Why don't you use it against him, look away from it, and then come back to the screen? That's a great play call.
That was number 11, Alex Thrall, on the catch and run. And just like that, the Bears are in business. And, Jason, I'm just used to Lewiston rushing and getting quickly to the line. It's kind of refreshing how Moscow huddles up and gives me a chance to speak.
Yeah, that's right. Get a drink of water. And
trips to the near side. Valesco in the pistol after a 40-yard pass play. 1st and 10. They're going to hand this one off the middle. That's to number 23, Toby Fry, and he is met immediately. In fact, he may have lost yardage on that play.
Yeah, that's a tough go of it there for Fry. You get that handoff, you're heading right into the teeth of the defense, but you have to keep him honest to open up the outside more. We've seen him have some success at the edges, and the only way to do that is to keep the big dogs eating in the middle.
That's right. That's right. And Robert Storm can eat for 3.
But again, nice job by Moscow, just keeping them a little bit off balance, going slow, using up some of that clock, kind of shortening the game, which keeps them in a chance to have an opportunity here.
So 2nd and 10 now. Pistol set for the Bears, trips to the near side. Motion, that's from number 2, Butch Kiblin. And it's going to be a screen play to the near side. That's intercepted! Lewiston picks it off, but the refs were blowing the play dead. They're going to call it Lewiston ball.
Yeah, it was one of those where it was very similar play design of the big strike they just had. This time it ends up with number 28, Connor Fry from Lewiston, who was able to wrestle the offensive player. The tie goes to offense, but the defender just rips it away, and there really wasn't much of a tie at all.
So my goodness, frustration for the Bears as Moscow just had an explosive play to the likes of number 11, Alex Thrall, who was able to take that ball 40-plus yards into Lewiston territory. And then the Lewiston defense steps up, and the pass is intercepted, and we've got a timeout here for the Moscow Bears. Folks, we're going to take a short break here. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. You're watching IdahoSports.com.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to IdahoSports.com. You're watching District 2 football. The Lewiston Bengals, 5A out of the Inland Empire Conference, are taking on the Moscow Bears, a 4A, here in Moscow, Idaho. In the booth tonight, Jason Hansen, my co-host and colorman, and I'm Garrison Hardy. Now Lewiston up 13-0, and they just made an interception on defense, and they want to add more points to their total. And there's 2 fake handoffs there, and Hottinger keeps it himself. He's almost brought down in the backfield, lowers the shoulder and gets what he can, and he's able to pick up 1 to 2 yards.
Yeah, nice job. We talked about this the last time they had the ball. They're just doing some misdirections. They have some motions, they have some counter plays, and then the quarterback ends up with it. And when both quarterbacks really, when they have the ball, they just like to lower that shoulder and get some yards.
And Lewiston right back at it here as James White tries to get to the outside. He stays on his feet, but he's ruled down. That would have been an athletic play there if he was able to keep that going. It's going to be spotted at midfield.
Yeah, nice job by his part saying, hey, come on now. I sat on top of him. I didn't touch, but referees were right there probably looking for it anyway, and now they're clicking. But it is a 3rd and 5, 3rd and long situation here.
And they're going to hand this one up the middle. And stuffed. No gain really on the play. They're able to push the pile forward a little bit, but ultimately a good stop there from the Moscow Bears.
Yeah, earned that 4th down, but they're probably going to go anyway. Make sure you watch the ball. This is when they might draw you off sides.
That was Lathan on the carry. Hottinger in the gun. He's got 2 wide receivers in the set. James White kind of counts as a 3rd, more of a hatchback role. 2 backs in the backfield. Pressure being shown by the Bears from the outside linebackers, safety mix. They're in a 3-4 defense. Hottinger takes the snap, fakes the handoff. It's a hook route to Brayton Rice, who's in the secondary and brought down at the 32-yard line. That's going to be a 1st down for the Bengals.
And we saw Rice do that before, just kind of hook up right where the defense isn't. They're kind of playing that zone over behind everything, and they just kind of find that sweet spot and nice ball delivery.
1st and 10, and there comes the sweep to Jared Jelinek, who's got some blocks on the outside. He tries to get to the sideline. He is past the secondary, and he trips up and falls for the end zone. We'll see what they mark it. They're marking it touchdown. Jared Jelinek on the sweep all the way to the end zone, and the Bengals put up 6.
Boy, they were like some pay dirt over there. I think they like to run down their own sideline so that way everybody gets to cheer them and they get that energy off them. But nice job right there again. We have receivers and we have linemen heading over to that corner. And like you said, there's just a massive humanity pushing him into the end zone over there. And nice job by Jared Jelinek getting a touchdown.
So here's the PAT from the Bengals. Trying to make this 20-0. Right now they're 1 of 2 on the night on these extra points. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up and through. Right down the middle, and the Bengals make that lead at 20-0. Now, Jason, when we started the season, it seemed like Lewiston rarely kicked PATs, and now it's the regular.
Yeah, and I think that's where these games really come in, where you have to keep sharpening your skills. Coach Pancari, again, we talked about how he's got his sights set for end of October. Obviously, 1 week at a time. Coach would tell you that too. But now what damage are we going to need in November? And their kicking game was a little suspect even tonight. The first one was a little bit wide right, and then it's a little bit right, and then now it seems to be more true. And that's something definitely to work on. I'm sure they've kind of gone over it about 1,000 times in practice in the last couple of weeks, and it's really starting to pay off.
So 20-0 here for Lewiston as they hope to improve to 5-1 on the season. Moscow comes in at 0-5, hoping to get their first win of the season.
When Coach Bafus had a lot of good stuff happening in starts and stops, and so we got 1 minute and 28 seconds left here in the first quarter. I'm sure he's got something circled on his playbook that he likes. They've done a nice job of picking them apart on that first, second down and just kind of keep them off balance. And so it's going to be important to go back to another one of those. Let's go get some yards, guys.
Kyson Barden set to kick for Lewiston. He's good about getting some touchbacks. We'll see what he does here. Back deep to receive. That's going to be number 5, Michael Kiblin. And it goes to Kiblin as well as, it goes to Fry, actually, who gets out past the 20, but he's pushed back by a good rush from the Bengals. And once again, the Bears are going to have to start this inside their own 20.
Yeah, and that's we talked about it. A nice big boot gets it in the end zone, and you have a touchback. But if you can cover, if you can kick deep, pin them near the goal line, and then everybody rush down there, this is actually better than getting it in the end zone. So nice job there by the Lewiston kicking game. And now Moscow has to kind of come up with something here, get out of the shadow of your end zone. We've seen them do it a couple of times with some big hitters, but you want to make sure you can sustain a drive now and keep that clock running.
Yeah, folks, we have a pretty good crowd here tonight. We've got a packed house here on Moscow's side of things. And then on the far side, we've got a full crowd from the Lewiston faithful. All 3 bleachers are packed to the brim. They made the trip up here in force.
But I bet you they're watching us on their phones.
Oh, 100%. They got to hear our play-by-play. Valesco, the quarterback number 10, takes the snap, drops back, and he's going to throw an out route here. And that one is caught. Nice catch there. And it's out past the 20-yard line. We'll see where they mark it. They're going to mark it back, probably a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, nice little gain right there. Defense playing pretty stout defense, so the only spot he could throw it is right where he did, and it meant that he had to catch it and fall down. Wasn't able to keep his feet and get a couple extra yards, so that's a nice good gain. I think it's Moscow homecoming tonight, so we might be able to see some impressive floats drive by a little bit later.
2nd and 4 after the reception. Pistol formation, blitz being shown from the Bengals. They bring it, and they try to run a draw up the middle, and that was met with force, and that's going to be a loss on the play.
Yeah, there it was, that defensive line, and I think a linebacker as well, number 31, Asa McClure, doing a nice job of being right where he needed to be, and the two of them, Storm and McClure, just kind of wrapping him up and saying, nah, I don't think so. And a big loss, looks like.
Yeah, it went from a 2nd and 4 to now we're looking at 3rd and 8, we'll call it. So a loss of 4 on the play. And Moscow on 3rd down, hoping to get a big one here. And it looks like we've got a timeout on the field.
Quarter,
that's buddy. The end of the quarter.
Yep.
Well, folks, I can't see the scoreboard.
Got to lean out the window
spot.
A little bit more.
That right there is the end of the first quarter. Folks, we've played one. Our score in this one, Lewiston 20, Moscow nothing. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back on IdahoSports.com.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to IdahoSports.com. District 2 football here in Idaho, the great state of Idaho, the gem state, whatever you want to call it. Jason Hansen and I are in the coverage tonight. I'm your host, Garrison Hardy. And, Jason, it was all Lewiston in that first quarter.
And not to jinx them, but this is kind of where they were last week, too. They had some good stuff going. I'm sure that Coach Pancari over there is going to say, okay, 4 quarters, boys. Let's just keep that momentum. Their defense really rose up the last couple of plays. They got stung on 1st down and 2nd and 3rd, and then pretty soon they're right where they want to be. And Moscow did a nice job of getting some things going. Coach Bafis' crew has been able to sting them a little bit, keep them off balance, but they need to sustain one of these and get some points out of it to really feel confidence.
So it's going to be coming out of the break here. It's going to be 3rd and 8 for the Bears, and this is a big 3rd down play here. They've got to get some points on the board and soon because Lewiston just does not stop. 3rd and 7, we'll call it. Valesco in the pistol. He's got 4 wide receivers in the set here. And 1 back in the backfield. That's Toby Fry. Lewiston showing 4 down linemen. And they bring it. It could have been offsides there. We'll see if there's a call. Valesco rolls to his left. It lofts it for a corner route. It's incomplete. The intended target was number 2. That's Butch Kiblin. And there is a discussion in the backfield.
Well, that was super heads up by Velasco, getting out of the pocket, getting away from that defensive pressure, and just getting the ball where nobody could really catch it. But it was it goes for an incomplete pass. Like you said, that puts a lot of pressure. You send 4 against Moscow's 5 offensive linemen. That means pretty much everybody's matched up one-on-one, and that can be rough sledding. So you got to make sure that you get some help there, maybe some misdirection, maybe a tight end, a chip, and then go. And it looks like we end up with 4th down no matter what after the discussion and waving off the penalty there.
So it's going to be 4th down now. And Moscow's special teams unit makes their way on the field. Looks like back to punt. That was number 22, Caden Teagan, junior wide receiver. And making also his way on the field is Connor Isaacson as one of the gunners. Lewiston showing some pressure. The ball's over Teagan's head into the end zone. He picks it up, and that's going to be a safety. unfortunate there for the Bears. And that's 2 more points for the Bengals.
And that is something that you go over and you try. They almost got it blocked last time. We talked about that before. And it might have been Alex Hernandez last time, and this time it looked like it might have been him again. But it's really one of those where they're getting a lot of defensive pressure. Maybe Kobe Sanderson. I'm just struggling with this yellow on white. But that time, the snap was a little high. He goes to go pick it up, and what are your choices there? Really, you got 4 or 5 Lewiston Bengals around you. You take the safety for 2, or you try and get outside and they get the ball on the 1. So, good job on his part, making sure you secure the ball first rather than kind of fumbling around and they end up with the ball in the end zone for a touchdown anyway. So, just trying to make something out of nothing and end up with the safety. And again, this is Coach Bafus' crew playing the long game where, okay, we got to get that's problem solved and hopefully that's better as they go forward. Now we don't oftentimes do this, but it is going to be a safety, so that means Lewiston gets the ball back on offense. So Moscow has to kick the ball to Lewiston. So,
and it's going to be they have to kick it all the way back from the 20. So this is going to be great field position as well for the Bengals. And so a lot of people don't know this, but you do have the option to either kick it regularly or punt the ball. A lot of people you will see punt it, but you do have the option to kick it if you would like.
Yeah, and even though we're at the 4A, 5A, sometimes your punters, you don't really have that boom guy. A lot of times people are using their quarterbacks and you're only going to get a 30-yard punt anyway. So you kids are more used to kicking off. But on the other end of this gives Jared Jelinek and Braden Rice some opportunity for some great return yards / take it to the house, which I tried to call a couple weeks ago, and they still owe me one.
Oh, there you go. We could get it right here. Braden Rice, Jared Jelinek ready to receive, and Teagan set to punt this one away from the 20. This has a spiral to it, and it actually gets past the return man. Jelinek's got to pick it up, and he's got the entire team in front of him, and he's not going to get away from that. So, all things considered, that's about as good as a punt you can get.
Yeah, and that's Moscow and Coach Bafus proven me wrong on both. They punted instead of kicking, and then their cover team was excellent, and so there was no touchdown for the return guys. So, good job, Coach Bafus, getting me one more time.
One of these days.
That's right.
1st and 10 now. 2 wide receivers to the far side of the field for the Bengals, and they're going to start this one off with a draw up the middle, and he is stacked up near the line of scrimmage, so not a lot doing there for the Bengals in their opening run from Chris Ricard.
Well, nice job by Moscow, talking about the ebb and flow of emotions here and just rallying up and getting that good tackle.
So 2nd and 7, we'll call it. Only pick up a 3. James White on the sweep. He's trying to get to the outside. Boy, does he got some speed, and he gets a solid gain there, 15-plus yards, and that's another Bengal first down.
Yeah, we talked about getting the yards you can right away. James White likes to do both, get a little shifty and then hit the gas, and boom, got up the sidelines, and nice first down.
1st and 10, ball on the 45-yard line. They're going to fake this. It's a deep shot over the top. We'll see if they got it, and they hit their man. Touchdown, Bengals. Hottinger with a beautiful pass over the top. That was just a simple go route.
Yeah, our guys are faster than your guys, and nice job ball placement right there. Coach Pancari's got to be happy about what he saw. You still got to do your stuff. You still got to be quick strike and be your personality, and that's a go real fast offense.
So the score is 28-0 now, pending the point after touchdown here from number 10. That's Cole Arlant, 2 of 3 on the night. Braden Rice, the holder. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is no good. It's wide right. The Buffalo Bills fans are furious.
Well, and that's, again, talking about trying to make sure they get all that corrected and make sure that Coach Pancari's crew, when they need it in the upcoming weeks as they start to battle their 5A league opponents, be it Post Falls and the 2 out of Coeur d'Alene, it's going to be important for them to make sure all facets of their game are high alert and right where they want it to be. And so I'm sure he's thinking, okay, we got to work on that too.
Now, for your fans at home, my reference was the late 80s run of the Buffalo Bills where they went to 4 straight Super Bowls. And, Jason, I don't know how many years this was, but there were a couple times where their kicker missed it wide right. And that's just cursed language there from Buffalo.
Yeah, and all of those Buffalo Bills fans out there saying, hey, too soon. Too soon.
It's always going to be too soon. But then again, we've got a Giants fan here in the booth.
I was going to say, once one of them was okay. I felt for him the rest of the time, but that one against the Giants, we kind of needed it.
That's right. Lawrence Taylor, there's some history up there. So Moscow Bears make their way out onto the field, and Lewiston has a 28-0 lead, and they are well on their way, if things stand as they are, to a 5-1 start on the season. And last year they went 11-2, excellent campaign. 16-2 in your last 18 games, not a bad mark.
Yeah, Coach Pancari, we talked about his personality just kind of seeping into all facets of the game, and that's exactly what's happening now. Everything's getting sharp, and they really have a blue-collar attitude of what are we not good at, let's get at it better next week. And the way their guys block downfield, I mean, they're happy for each other. There's a big group of them every time there's a touchdown, and that competition just breeds success.
So here's the kick. Left foot sends it deep downfield and into the end zone for a touchback. That's the second one of the night. And the Bears will take over. We're going to call this at the 20-yard line.
And again, it's important for Moscow to get some drive starters going. You know, don't get behind the chains right off the bat. Get that clock chewing through some time here. Obviously, you want some points on every possession, especially when you're down 28-0. But you want to get some points to also get that clock going and see if you can't crawl back into this thing.
1st and 10 now. Bears not ready for hibernation as they huddle up and get ready for this drive. Valesco is going to line this one under center. He's got 2 backs in the backfield. 3 wide receivers in the set here. And it's going to be a sweep play to the left side of the formation, your near side of the screen. And good containment from the Bengals, and that's going to stop them after a pickup of 4.
Yeah, that's a nice gain, right? It's one of those where you got the clock's running and you got some good yardage out of it, and you're kind of setting that edge, which should open up the inside a little bit better, or maybe that screen play again.
We've got about 10.5 minutes to go here in the first half, and plenty of time for Moscow to get themselves on the board and maybe chip away at this lead.
And they get the ball at the second half, so that should bode well for them as well.
So Valesco is going to be in the pistol this time. 4 wide receivers in the set, 1 back in the backfield. That's Toby Fry. Lewiston showing pressure with 4 down linemen and man-to-man coverage on the outside. Motion from the far side from left to right. And that is Kiblin, who is brought down hard. That was a grown man tackle there from number 32. That was Elliott Taylor.
Yeah, speaking of Lawrence Taylor, Elliott Taylor just came over there and lowered some boom on him. But again, nice running to the short side, trying to get to the edge. But Lewiston was a little more efficient this time and got him stopped before it was much of a gain.
So again, we can't say enough about this Lewiston front 7, especially when you look at the front 4, anchored by the big guy, Robert Storm, number 0, and then you've also got some speedy and athletic linebackers who lower the boom like Taylor just did.
Well, and we have the defensive ends like Renzelman, who just had the sack a moment ago.
Valesco takes the snap, fires it over to the right side, and maybe some miscommunication there as his intended target, Butch Kiblin, didn't even turn around to see the ball.
Yeah, and it's one of those where, again, we talked about the front 7 of Lewiston and that just the shadow of that, just the idea that they're going to be bearing down on you pretty quick makes it so that ball is pretty hot and you want to get rid of it fast, and the receivers weren't ready.
So 4th and 5, and the punt team is on their way out here for the Bears, and they certainly hope that it goes better this time around. As Caden Teagan, the junior, and it's a low snap this time. He's just got to send it. It's blocked. It's picked up and caught and brought into the end zone. Touchdown Bengals We'll see what the officials call it here.
Yeah, and we talked about Coach Pancari's special teams just getting better and getting sharp, and right there we saw a little bit of hey, come on, ref, that was a catch and run, and I didn't put my knee down. So that's an excellent job by Lewiston special teams.
And I can't see who caught that and ran it in the end zone. That looked like maybe number 4, Braden Rice, but again, I'm not sure. This uniform combo is unkind to broadcasters, and I'm going to take that up with Coach Pancari.
Yeah, that's right. Come on, sponsors.
All right, PAT here for the Bengals once again. And they missed their last one. That is Cole Arlant on to attempt. And some personnel adjustments here. Oh, and from the Bears as well. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up. And this one's through and good. And the Lewiston Bengals have a 35-0 lead with 8:56 to go here in the first half. Jason, just a dominant performance thus far.
Yeah, in all facets. The offense is clicking, the defense is clicking, now the special teams is scoring touchdowns. But, again, Moscow going to get the ball here, and it's going to be redundant, but they've got to just keep building that confidence, think about the long game, and chew up some clock. They sustained some drives from their own goal line to midfield earlier. They just got to find that rhythm again and see if they can't, keep possession of the ball. Lewiston's probably going to start sprinkling in some young guys, and we're going to try and name them as they get in there. You would think a white jersey would be easy to spot, but with the yellow lines, and then maybe you're doing a better job at home. Maybe we should be at home listening to ourselves, and maybe that's the case. But again, just these guys being excited about each other's accomplishments from Lewiston. We had to try and spot his number as he ran into the big huddle of guys because everybody was, batting him around and telling him good job, and everybody was happy for him because there was about 4 guys trying to pick up that blocked punt.
So 35-0 after the punt, block, and return for a touchdown, and Moscow gets another shot here at putting a solid drive together. They've got a couple Bears back deep to receive. That's Michael Kiblin on one side, and then that is also number 23, Toby Fry.
Back deep for Bears, Brian Kiblin.
And this one is sent deep by Kyson Barden. It's squibbed down the middle, picked up by, that's Fry. He's going to try to take it from right to left. Gets past the defender, lowers the shoulder, and brought down at the 35-yard line. The ball came free, but it went out of bounds, and that's going to be Moscow ball. And that was a big hit delivered there from number 16. That was Noah Carpenter.
Well, and that's just it. Now we're going to start seeing some fresh guys as he's getting a lot of congratulations as he run off. That now they're going to be thinking, okay, well, let's. It looks like they brought 2 buses. Let's go ahead and put some of these younger guys in. Sprinkle them in. You don't want to just dump them, but sprinkle them in and see if you can't get some good plays out of them.
So we're going to take a quick break here, and let's go ahead and go to IdahoSports.com to take a look at the Friday Night Flash and see what's happening across the state here. And this assuming my Wi-Fi wants to do something.
Looks like it might be a twisted ankle or whatever there real quick, and then we're back into action here. And Moscow, again, is going to need to sustain one of these drives. You hate to just run and get super predictable, but at the same time, you have to do something that's going to allow you to possess the ball as long as you possibly can.
Well, you know what? I can't find the Friday Night Flash, so
maybe you need to have internet. Maybe you need to have a cell phone, not just a flip phone.
No, fans at home, I do not have a flip phone. Jason's lying. You heard it here first. All right, pistol set here with Valesco. Takes the snap, drops back. He's going to bring it to the other side here, and that one's caught by number 3, Logan Tate. Gets up to about halfway to the first down marker, gain of 6.
Yeah, it works out just like a pass, just as a run, where you're getting the ball spread out. Everybody has to rush to the ball. You're kind of getting guys in space, and you take a lot of the pressure off that offensive line that they can give up a little ground, and nice ball delivery right there by Velasco on that one.
So we'll call it 2nd and 4. Ball's going to be on the 43-yard line. Trips to the far side of the field. Pistol formation once again, one back in the backfield. And it's going to be a pass play once again. Good blocking from the Bears, but he's got to get rid of it quickly. Tipped into the air and almost intercepted. That would have been our man, Jason, number 7, Briggs Duman. And he's not able to hang on this time.
Yeah, he was hoping to keep that streak alive right there. Nice job. You know, when the front 7 is doing such an awesome job, you'd think it'd just be Pick City back there. But, again, I think the offensive player played a little defense right there and tried to make sure he didn't pick it. So he may be mad at himself, but I'm going to give him credit on the offensive player, a little credit right there to make sure he was also struggling for the ball.
So 3rd and 4. Once again, ball's on the 43-yard line. Trips to the far side. Lewiston showing pressure with 4 rushers. Valesco gets rid of it. This one tipped into the air again and incomplete off the hands of number 5, Michael Kiblin.
Yeah, and that's the tough go of that. I mean, that screen quick game is a great call. But if you don't get the ball delivered exactly where the receiver is feeling comfortable, they're going to have to reach up high, get those big paws up, and that's going to open you up to a big shot from somebody. So, unfortunately for Moscow, they don't get that drive sustained very long, and they don't get the clock ran very far. So,
a punt coming up here from Caden Teagan. The last one was blocked and taken to the end zone. Good snap this time, and he does get rid of it. And it's going to take a pro-Moscow bounce and gets dropped out of bounds at around the 24-yard line. So a much better result this time on the punt play.
Yeah, there was some guys in his face, but nice job by the punter just setting his foot and getting it off really cleanly and getting a nice punt and roll.
So 1st and 10 for the Bengals. We haven't seen their offense in a bit here. The last drive, they didn't even get a chance to come out. The special teams unit took care of it. Hottinger in the gun, 2 backs in the backfield, and then 2 wide receivers on the far side of the field. That's Jared Jelinek and Braden Rice. And this one is going to be a sweep play to the far side. And they've got him into the open space, and he's brought down in the secondary. Gain of 15 on the play.
Yeah, and that's, again, nice job by all those white shirts getting a block. And the black shirts were trying to rally up quick, but he was able to pick his way through all of that and pick up a nice first down.
So 15-yard gain on the run from Chris Ricard. And a sweet play here. It's faked. It's kept by Hottinger, who jumps over the defensive lineman and was able to pick up 5 yards. But I'm sure Coach Pancari is not a fan of that.
Yeah, I think Coach Pancari and Hottinger's parents are probably cringing a little bit with some of these jumps he has. Pretty impressive stuff, willing to do it, but not always the best.
And this one is Jared Jelinek. He's got a sweet play going. He's got some blockers in front, but he's brought down, but not before a first down play, and that's another gain of 15 yards.
And again, that's just that selfless attitude where guys are blocking for each other. Moments ago, Jared Jelinek was less the lead block for James White. This time, he's getting the lead block in front of him, and everybody's just sharing and doing the heavy load together. 1st
and 10 now. Motion from the far side, and it's going to be Hottinger once again looking to hurdle somebody, I'm sure. Lowers the shoulder, and he's brought down finally, but not before a gain of 14 yards and another first down.
Yeah, another chip. Here it comes, and we're right back on the ball.
Same exact formation once again. Why not? This time it's Hottinger once again. Goes up the middle. Nearly tripped up from behind and finally spun down. And this one is another first down, gain of 10 on the play.
It's going to be one of those where all the running backs are going to be telling the defense, don't tackle us, tackle Hottinger so we get the ball. Nice job reading everything. These are just zone reads where you do what the defense gives you, and that's what they're giving them, obviously.
Hottinger's going to throw it this time. It's a corner route over the top, and it is caught for a touchdown. Excellent corner route there from Hottinger to his wide receiver, and that is another Bengal touchdown. Hottinger has 2 touchdowns through the air.
Yeah, nice job of delivering it. We've seen him do that a number of times where it's run, and then he just has the calm demeanor to set his feet and put the ball right where it needs to be.
And, it's actually he's got 3 touchdowns through the air. As the first score of the game was a wheel route for Lewiston, and that went 60 yards through the air. So another PAT attempt here for the Bengals. Arlant sends this one up and through. well, to the far right. I can't see from here, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's well. In high school, the goalposts aren't very high anyway, so I appreciate the referees having the best view and just telling us with, yep, arm straight up or nope, giving us a wave.
So another 6 on the board for the Bengals, and that makes the score 41-0. And Jason, it's just been a smooth operating system here tonight as Lewiston's just been a machine.
Yeah, and just clicking right along, just like Coach Pancari would probably be hoping, just because of the fact that you don't want any emotional letdowns. We talked about that. You have an overtime game against Sandpoint. You have some league games coming up that you have had circled all summer. And this game's kind of nestled right there in the middle where it could almost be a trap game. And he wasn't having any of that. And again, they just came right out of the blocks barnstorming. And you just seen, clicking on every offensive possession. Like you said, their offense hasn't even had to score all the touchdowns. So now, again, Moscow's just got to try and sustain, try and do their thing. You just got to keep battling, and I'm sure Coach Bafis' crew will, because that's also his personality. So I'm sure they're just going to try and get better at everything that they're trying to do as well, and keep getting better on every possession.
So 41-0 with 6:14 left here in the first half. And Jason, watching any college football tomorrow? Who you got?
No, I got a little bit of everybody. No, it's the old Oklahoma TCU game, and I don't think there's very many listeners who probably follow those teams. But this is the weekend I normally sneak down there. But volleyball's in full swing, and I be voting for the old Genesee Bulldogs tomorrow in the old P and Lennell. So I'll be watching some games in the basement and on my phone. What about you?
Well, Washington State is actually taking on Cal. I was wrong. I thought they were taking on USC at USC, but that's on the 8th. So the Cougs have a chance to bounce back from their loss to the Oregon Ducks, where they couged it. And this kick goes out of bounds past the 30-yard line, and that's going to draw a flag. For the fans at home, that is not allowed.
That's right. Well, and this gives Moscow some pretty good field position, kick out of bounds, and plus a penalty, so that'll work out just perfect for them. Also, locally, we'll have Moscow at home for homecoming, and they're kind of, they played with the Cougs, and now they're just kind of building up as well. So it's going to be fun, and here pretty soon we'll be checking that Friday Night Flash. I'm sure you guys are bouncing around the interwebs trying to figure out who's doing what and when, and some of the games were last night because some of the leagues like ours is short on officials, and so we actually play games on Thursday night and Saturday night, so it's kind of interesting to see how that dilemma has shaped up to have 3 days of football right here on the Palouse.
It's going to be 1st and 10 here. Ball spotted at the 35-yard line after the penalty. Valesco in the pistol takes the snap. Going to hand this one right up the middle, and it's not going anywhere. Excellent push up front by that Lewiston front seven once again, and that's a loss of 3 yards on the play.
Mason McClure once again coming in. Hey, you giving the player of the game to defenders. I want a piece of that. And number 31 comes barnstorming in there and does a nice job, plus all the defenders. So, again, those linebackers, that front seven, allowing those cover guys to do their work.
Jason, you touched on how we have a shortage of officials here in District 2. And, it's a pretty thankless job, honestly. You've got a lot of travel, but you've also got to deal with folks who may not like you all the time as Valesco drops back to pass as a slant route, and it's batted away it's going to bring up 3rd down. But as I was saying, it's a pretty tough gig. So, it's understandable why we have this shortage, and gotta call into question sometimes the fans who maybe go after them a little too much. After all, this is a game.
Yeah, well, and actually one of the officials tonight was a former player of mine, Jamin Udy, and I say that because the fact that if you still love the game and coaching just doesn't fit into your schedule, he's always saying, hey, if you can fit in a couple of nights a week, it kind of gets you out there with the guys, and they'll probably post-game pick through, and he'll talk to the coaches about how they did as well. So as much as there is some of the problems to the officiating aspects, it's also one of those where they're always looking for guys and girls for that matter who want to get out there and officiate. So if you're interested, give somebody a call.
3rd and 13, and this is going to be a catch, but it's going to be short of the first down marker. They get about half of what they needed, gain of 7, and that's going to bring up 4th and 5, and now Moscow's got a decision to make.
Yeah, and that's a tough one because the fact that your punt game is getting better, but you just want to be on offense, and it looks like the quarterback is lingering out there. Velasco giving us okay, come on, what are we going to do here? Come get a play. Let's roll some dice here and see if we can't get that first down.
4th and 5 with just under 5 minutes left in the first half here, and with the score being the way it is, 41-0. Any spark of life here would be big for the Bears as they do get the ball to start the second half. So Velasco under center, 4 wide receivers in the set, man-to-man coverage on the outside. Trying to probably get the Bengals to jump off here. And that is going to be a timeout. They were just trying to get an offside jump. Good discipline there from that front 7 of Lewiston.
It is, but that's Coach Bafus from Moscow. Trying to get his guys to evolve into the next steps, the next level. Where let's take advantage of this, regardless of what the scoreboard tells us. Let's come out here and see if we can't get them jump. We'll stay on offense the old-fashioned way. But unfortunately for them, it didn't work out. But I like the idea of coming out there and getting some game planning situation to try and get them. We talked about Lewiston heading into their games that are going to count the most with their league games. The same thing for Moscow. They'll have Lakeland and they'll have Sandpoint, who are having great seasons. So you got to be ready when they get here. But you got to make sure you can count on all facets of the game. So good job by understanding game situation stuff for the Moscow Bears. Now I bet we probably see the punt.
That's right. It's 4th and 5, ball spotted at the 40-yard line. We'll see what Coach Bafus has cooked up here. And for the folks at home, we just want to remind you guys that we got a lot of features here on IdahoSports.com. One of them just happens to be game picks. You get Gridiron Game Picks this week. You can compete every week against other high school sports fans and the so-called experts like Jason and I at IdahoSports.com for free. So again, go ahead and look up under the tab Game Picks. Let's see what happens on this 4th down play, and I'll tell you about the rest. So it looks like this very well could be a 4th down conversion attempt here. Velasco in the pistol. He could also punt it. We'll see. He drops back to pass. He's looking. It's a go route on the far side, and it's incomplete. It hit his hands, and he just wasn't able to hang on. Good throw, and they almost had it.
Yeah, I like that. I was going to play it safe and just go ahead and punt, but Coach Bafus is saying, I think I saw something. Let's go ahead and go for it. Again, trying to instill some confidence. You're just a millimeter away of getting that confidence, keeping the ball, and moving forward. Was there a penalty?
It looks like an official in the secondary had a discussion, but they could also just be switching the ball out, which it looks like they are. So it is going to be a turnover on downs as the pass was incomplete. So
I think we're measuring, not to correct you there, stepping off the penalty, and it looked like there was some defensive pass interference. So keep possession that way.
There we go. That's what they saw, obviously. Just go run into the defender and throw and fall down.
And the quarterback, Velasco, is going, no wonder he didn't catch it. They were hanging on him and holding him and pushing him down. So,
well, let me tell you, as a former receiver, I'd be saying, phew, because all the coaches always say, you touch it, you catch it. 1st and 10. 2 wide receivers on the near side. Velasco, deep drop, looking, and he just has to get rid of it at that point. Intended target, that was number 25 from Moscow. That was Sam Young, Jr.
I'm not sure that was the play design. It looked like Velasco kind of turned to hand off the ball, and everybody else was running a different direction. So probably making a good situation out of that just by getting to 2nd and 10.
So 2nd and 10 here, and that does stop the clock with 4:02 left here in the first half. Pistol look, once again, trips on the near side. 4 down linemen for the Bengals, 2 linebackers over the middle. And Valesco hands this one up the middle. That's Toby Fry. He gets past the original line of scrimmage and a couple more, maybe 2 to 3 yards.
Well, and they've been stinging them with some of these screen plays, which generally gets your defensive line bailing out in a direction. This time they try and get them where they had just left, but the defensive line didn't really respond to much, and they were just waiting for him when he got there.
And my mistake, that was number 25, Sam Young, on the carry. And Valesco is asking for a different ball. And he makes a completion there to the official. Nice.
Well, I wonder if, given the fact that you had talked about that they may have switched out the ball because of the change of possession, but kept it over here. I'm not 100% sure, but one looks vastly different than the other.
So it's going to be 3rd and 8. Ball spotted at the 44-yard line. Valesco back to pass. It's a hook route, and it is incomplete. That one was needled through coverage, but it couldn't quite get to his target. His intended target was Logan Tate.
Well, and we've seen Rice from the Bengals do the similar move where they just kind of hitch up or find windows in that zone, and they tried to hit him with some of the similar stuff, but wasn't able to connect, and so instead now you're in that 4th down anyway, and again the clock stops on the incomplete.
2 minutes, 59 seconds here in Moscow, Idaho, in the first half. 41-0 in favor of the Lewiston Bengals as they look to improve to 5-1 on the season. And Caden Teagan set to punt for the Bears, and it's a low snap. He's got to pick it up and tries to send it. He got hammered on that kick. Let's see if there's a call here. Now, I don't know how they're going to rule this, Jason. Teagan had the ball in his hands to the last second, and he was also rushing off to the side there.
Yeah, so it kind of almost makes him into a running player, but he is protected if he tries to kick it. But if he gets outside the tackle box, then it's more of a, it really puts the defensive players in a position. So I think the officials are huddling up there a little bit to try and make sure they're also on the same page. Make sure the call was correct on that. He did get the ball punted, so if you're a Moscow fan, and that's been kind of a little bit of an interesting night anyway, but able to punt it, got it out of bounds, no return, and so now they need to play some defense. Now Lewiston with 2:53 left, and again it feels like an hour since they've been on offense. They can score in bunches and in super quick, so it's going to one of those where I'm sure Coach Pancari is just thinking, let's pedal to the metal rather, and see if we can't get some points out of this while we work on some different wrinkles.
So 1st and 10 there after the punt was nearly blocked once again. And they're going to hand this one up the middle to Ricard, who battles forward, spins off of a tackle, and he's brought down after pickup of 4. And the tackle is made by number 23, Toby Fry. Pickup of 5 from Ricard. And now the Bears once again showing pressure from the outside, 3-4 defense. And this time it's going to be a keeper, and he's got blocking all the way down the far side, but there's a couple of flags in the backfield, and that's generally holding.
Well, and again, lots of misdirection right there. Hard to make sure you know where the ball is, and probably one of the reasons why he was able to sneak out, but if there was holding on the far side, that also helps the running back.
That's right. It's going to be a 10-yard penalty here, depending on the call, and that would make it 2nd and 15.
I believe Mackey is in.
And it's actually going to be a face mask on the defense, so no harm, no foul. It's going to be waved off because there was holding on the offense, face mask on the defense, and they just offset. Jason, what do you think of the offset rule? I mean, it just kind of seems a lot of times it just wipes away certain things and maybe a get-out-of-jail-free card at times.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with some of that where one was a 5 and one was 15.
And actually a pretty solid run there from the likes of number 14. That is Ryland Gomez for Lewiston. good carry on his part, the defensive back and tight end.
Well, it looks like maybe Cole Arnold, new quarterback for Lewiston, snuck in there on us as well. So, again, kind of sprinkling in, especially as they're closer to us, maybe be able to sneak a peek at the numbers.
And this is going to be a handoff to the left side of the field. That looks like it's number 29 from Lewiston as he gets a first down and then some. Gain of 17 on the play. But number 29, Jaden Cobley.
Well, and it's one of those where, again, some of these younger guys sneaking in here and getting some Friday Night Lights time. And coaches are always looking for somebody else to be on the depth chart if you need it. And these guys get a chance to shine.
1st and 10. Arlant takes the snap, steps up into the pocket, and he's going to roll to his right now, being pressured, and it is incomplete as he tried to dump that one off to the halfback out of the backfield.
Pass is incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 10.
Looks like we got a timeout here with 1:54. Moscow's going to call timeout and try and think things through and make sure that they're all on the same page and see if they can't get a stop here on this one.
So 2nd and 10 here, and we'll just keep it right here. Why not? Here at IdahoSports.com, I've got to finish up that ad read for Game Picks. Why not? You can do it for free on IdahoSports.com, and you get to compete with the so-called experts like Jason and myself. You can win weekly prizes and the chance to be crowned the regular season picks champ. It's okay if you start now because weekly prize winners get $25. If you are the regular season grand champ, you win $100,000. No, kidding. $100 and $250 donation will be given in your name to your favorite Idaho high school athletic program. Best of all, it's free to play. Jason, you finding anything on Friday Night Flash? What's that looking like?
I am sneaking around here. Like 5As, we got Bonneville 14, Thunder Ridge 6. Looks like we're still a little early as far as who's coming in. We have Cuna down 4 to Mountain View. We have Sandpoint on top of Lake City 16-6.
And here's another run play up to the near side. And he is sandwiched and brought down. A good tackle there from the Bears. That was number 5, Michael Kiblin on the hit. And got to take the chance to celebrate when you can.
And the young Bengals are also in the go-go.
3rd and 5 here. Arlant lofts this one over the top. Nearly a one-handed reception there, and it's incomplete. And that's going to bring up 4th and 5. So a potential stop here for the Bears.
Well, and a good job, too, just making sure that they're working through everything and kind of guys talking to each other about, okay, this is what I thought you were going to do. This is what the route I thought it was. And so you see some corrections going on out here in the fly. And not sure if we're switching receivers or offensive line was kind of moving around. I think Lewiston's going to call timeout here to make sure they're on the same page and not waste this opportunity for the young guns.
Lewiston heads to the sideline there to talk things over. Moscow, they're going to talk things over. Well, let's let our advertisers talk things over. We'll take a short break here on IdahoSports.com.
It can be a lot, trying to figure out how to make it, how to dream big, and to wonder, what if? Because no matter where you are in life, if you don't know what's possible in Idaho, it's hard to keep asking, what if? Which is exactly why Next Steps Idaho was created, with everything from smart tools that help you figure out careers you might be suited for, to training and education options for you. So keep asking what if at nextsteps.idaho.gov.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here on IdahoSports.com. This is a long field goal attempt here, and it is no good. It was actually right into that front line, and so blocked. And from a kick of that distance, as a former kicker myself, you got to kick it a little bit lower to get that trajectory going, and just didn't pan out there.
Well, when we talked about the kicking game, the special teams play by Lewiston with Coach Pancari trying to make sure it sharpens up. And, we don't oftentimes see field goals, but what the heck, let's try one. It's a non-leaguer. You're up by quite a few here in the first half. Not being disrespectful, but just trying to get some kids in different situations. We saw Moscow doing the same thing with trying to draw them off sides and those kinds of things. So we don't have any score. If you're looking for scores, Post Falls is playing Mount Spokane out of Washington. No score on that one yet. So Middleton over Timberline Boise 34-0.
And hey, Lewiston versus Moscow. It's only 19-0 apparently on IdahoSports.com. Let's get that updated.
Hey, let's watch that game.
Yeah. Velasco back to pass. It's a hook route, and it is incomplete. That ball hit the turf.
And I like the idea of Moscow just trying to come out here and sharpen up their skill set as well. Who cares about the score? Let's just work on us. And they had some success finding some spots early on in the game, and probably one of those where they saw something from up here, up above. Most of these teams now, I think we're sitting right next to their camera. Most of these teams have a eye in the sky that they can kind of build off of. So must have saw something and want to take advantage.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion. And ball spotted at the 20-yard line. Moscow comes to the line of scrimmage. 4 wide receivers in the set here. Just over a minute to go here in the first half. And it's going to be a sweep play here. They got some blockers out to the far side, but he's brought down from behind, and the ball came free. Lewiston says they've got it. No signal as of yet, and they do. Lewiston comes up with the turnover, and once again their defense comes up big to get their offense back on the field.
No, and that's, again, working on turnovers, working on special teams. Coach Pancari's got to be excited about how his guys are responding, not only physically and game planning, but also emotionally, just staying in here. And it gives those young guys from Lewiston another chance to try and break that plane to the goal.
1st and 10 here. Ball spot at the 25-yard line after the turnover. And it's going to be a quarterback keeper. He's got the far side of the field open to himself, and he waltzes into the end zone. Touchdown, Bengals. Now that's going to make it 47-0.
When we talked about that, they must like the sideline that is their sideline, because, again, they found pay dirt over there, and lots of guys down there cheering him as he runs towards the huddle, and looks like we're going to be trying another extra point here with a kick. And, again, that's something that they want to continue to get better at.
For Lewiston, I believe that was quarterback number 19, Jeremy Yoder, who made the run. JV getting his time to shine on the varsity level. It's going to be a bad snap, so the holder just has to try to run for it, and he gets eaten alive there in the backfield. So kick is no good, and the score is going to remain 47-0.
At the same time, nice job heads up by the holder right there to realize, okay, if this is what happens, it's fire call, let's go run it, and the receiver's released. I thought maybe they were going to sneak out there, but Moscow did a nice job of rallying up and put a stop to that pretty darn quick. I don't know how many 4A, 5A fans would be paying attention to this score, but from the 1A ranks, District 2, from the Palouse, actually more like the Camas Prairie, actually more correctly down on the river. Kamei 32, Prairie 0. We don't oftentimes see Prairie getting shut out, but tonight might not be their night unless they rally and get going. It is only second quarter, so plenty of time to shine. Carryover Valley 88-0. So it's a rocker and a roller. No score from the Kellogg game. They're playing Frenchtown, Montana. We kind of highlighted that. They played Moscow earlier in the year, and they're at home, but no score reported yet.
Well, score here, 47-0 in favor of the Bengals. 41 seconds left here in the first half, and at this point, Moscow may just be content to run a couple of plays and head to the locker room. It's back deep to receive as the likes of Michael Kiblin and number 23, Toby Fry. At least I think that's correct. Yep, that is correct. This ball is kicked deep, and it's going to bounce to the 10-yard line. Kiblin takes it from there, tries to get to the outside, lowers the shoulder, and then he's brought down by a host of Bengals, and they're going to spot him at the 22-yard line.
Nice job by the cover team. Sorry, Garrison. Nice job by the cover team. We talked about it. They got some different guys in there now, and some guys who've been out there. You can see some dirty jerseys and some clean ones, and nice job of blending the two together and getting down here and getting him stopped before he was able to pick his way very far. But he did get a nice gain and held on to it as all kinds of Lewiston Bengals were ripping and stripping on that ball.
Got 31 seconds to work with, do the Bears, so they can have a couple of deep shots if they want to send it, or oftentimes teams at this point will just take a knee or run a couple of run plays and call it good.
Yeah, they've had a little success with running out to the edges, and so they might be able to, get a little gain, see if they can get something out of it, and see if they can't build off of it. But again, I've been, I think, 0 all night on those calls, so they'll probably just throw it deep.
Now, what do you know? You were a former coach. Jeez. Yeah. Checking into the game for the Bears is number 44. That is Ebby Qualls, Jr. Two wide receivers on the far side, and then Qualls lines up in the slot on the near side. And it's going to be a draw up the middle. And that was number 33 for the Bears, Finney Needham, freshman. Gets into the linebacker level, and he's brought down.
Yeah, a little rough sledding in there against the Lewiston front seven. I looked like Caden Daniel, maybe number 33 right there, maybe number 36 as well, Wyatt Laney. Just kind of getting some tackles, getting a little time, but looks like that'll do it for the half. Moscow comes back out at halftime after homecoming, and they'll be receiving the kickoff.
So that's the end of the first half, folks, with the score, Lewiston 47, Moscow nothing. We'll be right back after these brief messages. You're watching IdahoSports.com in District 2 on IdahoSports.com.
It's time to elevate your finances. Introducing Ascend Checking, the new free checking account from P1FCU that pays you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking and mobile deposit with no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend Checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, a Pacific Northwest original since 1938.
Some days, I choose the most difficult trail. I test my limits.
Taking the hard path isn't always easy, but I know it's the right way.
When I get done with my ride and I look back at what I've just accomplished, I feel amazing.
It takes courage and determination to do hard things.
But you can do them.
Quitting tobacco and vaping is possible.
You decide when. We'll show you how. Learn more at projectfilter.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
We're a valley-wide country store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
said goodnight, Irene. I called him and I said, so we have to play the third quarter straight up, and then they run the clock. He's like, yeah, you think it's bad talking about it? Imagine being down here trying to ref it.
I think it's worse up here. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
So they just play the third straight up.
Yes, and Lewiston's already played their second stringers. The assistant coach, not the offensive coordinator, but another guy I know from Lewiston who was my assistant, said they brought everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't think they kept the freshman dress down, but they might have.
Well, I saw the team warming up over there, and I thought that's a big squad.
Yeah.
So,
well, because Lewiston's JV, Lewiston's freshman played Moscow's JV,
and so they just kept him.
And beat him 30-something to 6. And so, kind of one of those like.
May as well get some experience.
come to the press box in Moscow to pick up your equipment.
Yep.
Oh, shoot.
No, games like last week is why it's like, okay, yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
But games like this where it's like we talked about, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I do really think that, well, if this relationship, goes the distance, then this probably will be my last year. Just because it's like I'll have, bigger things to attend to.
Something better to do than hang out with me on a Friday night? What the heck?
No offense, but
Well, that's interesting because I did this because my daughters were in high school, and my oldest will be have graduated by then.
So it's kind of like,
but then it's like, is that the sweet sound of coach again? But my wife's like, listen, they suck. You won't keep it in balance. Let's go hang out somewhere on the weekends instead.
right. That's fair.
It's like,
Well-earned rest.
Yep. The real hard one's going to be, what am I going to do with basketball? As long as your dad's doing it, keeps all the pressure off of me to ever have to do it.
Right.
But I think we got a couple of people who want to, other people who want to help him.
Throw their hat in the ring, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what. Has my dad talked to you about it, or?
No, not anything. I mean, I've kind of whispered around, kind of like what you'd already said. Like, well, I'm not 100% sure because if we're losing sleep and they're not, then.
Right. Yeah. But my dad's an all-in kind of guy, and
right.
If he's not seeing that kind of development in the program, then he's just, well, I'm not going to tug a dead horse.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm lining up across from you guys this year. I'll be coaching the girls and
be booing the heck out of you.
Oh wait, you're the JV guy, aren't you?
That's right.
Yeah, so we'll be going head to head. And I'll say that guy sucks. Make sure to run out of bounds and just smash into him.
That's right.
No, we're probably going to be
kind of nice over there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we're competitive, but this Logos basketball, the girls' side at least, has never really, I don't know, you guys may have seen some skill over there, but we lost a lot of talent, and it'll be a bit of a rebuild.
Well, and they seem to always like get kind of polished up enough to be pretty good at the end, but not hit it hard at the beginning.
Right. Which, believe it or not, you got to do both.
Yes, right.
If you want to go to state, as you guys have done.
Right. Well, and it's tough if you always start at the first rung versus if you can start at like ring 7 or 8, where it's like, okay, now we're moving and we're going up.
Right. Did I switch the scoreboard? Yes. Let's just hop back on the lab about stuff.
46 seconds left.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to IdahoSports.com. It's got the Moscow Bears, the hometown Bears, taking on the Lewiston Bengals here in District 2. I'm Gerson Harding, and joining me in the booth is Jason Hansen. And Jason, that was a dominant first half from the Lewiston Bengals as they were dominant in all facets of the game, as you mentioned in the first half.
Well, and we talked about this maybe had been a trap game simply because they head into their league schedule next against Post Falls, who's doing a great job this year as well, and we don't have any score from them. They're playing Mount Spokane from Washington, but one of those where they play this game and they just had an emotional overtime game against Sandpoint, and so Coach Pancary's got to be happy about his guys coming out just hitting right on all cylinders right off the bat, and I'm sure he's thinking, okay, no letdown. You don't want to be rude to Moscow, but you gotta do what's good for you, and I'm sure he's thinking, okay, JV guys or whoever he sends out here, because we had some fresh shirts come out before. Let's just get things going and set a tone right off the bat. Lewiston should be on defense first. Moscow gets the ball, and it's going to be imperative for Coach Bafus's crew to find some things. They had some good plays here, good plays there, but nothing that really was sustainable. So get the ball, keep the ball away from from Lewiston rather, and get some points. Got to get some points.
And, I think one thing to be said as far as Lewiston showing Moscow respect, I would argue it would be disrespectful for them to take their foot off the gas pedal. You want to come out and compete against your best. Best on best, and it's. I remember watching ESPN's 30 for 30. It's all about the U. Did you see that one where Miami was taking on Notre Dame? Final score was 58-6 or something like that, and the media blasted the U. But they said, well, we put our backups in. Like, do you want me to tell them to lay down and not play or kneel on every play? To me, that's even more disrespectful.
Yeah, for sure.
What Lewiston could do.
Well, and Lewiston has some younger guys sprinkled in here, and they're always looking for depth because it's one of those where you think about from this year to last year, we had some guys that must have been developed. Ottinger was kind of somebody who was kind of a second-string backup, play a couple receivers spots. But now he's just out here, setting a great tone. So I'm sure they're also looking for the next big flash. Who's going to take over next?
And this could be a really bad start here for the Bears as they had the ball got past the return men and bounced all the way inside the 5-yard line. And that is going to be rough field position to start the second half.
Yeah, so they probably were going to want to run, but now you're running out of the shadow of your end zone. Looks like we have a number of fresh shirts coming out here. I don't see number 0, Storm, defensive lineman, which is good because Lewiston, again, putting in a lot of guys on a Friday night. Some of these guys are probably JV guys or whatever that are getting some minutes and, want to come out here and make a splash. Now they got to make sure they get 11 guys out here because we're sending a couple of new white shirts on there. And here comes the play. Noah Velasco coming out here with the whole situation. So, again, they're going to be huddling up, making sure everybody's on the right page, and Moscow comes out of their huddle. And so here comes the good snap. Going to be a little quick play out here to the right. Going to be running for the edge. The defense rallies up real quick. Doesn't get him outside, and so he's down quickly.
I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I just had nearly fell out of the press button. I don't know.
And we may have lost a viewer there. They're like, oh, no Garrison. What the heck happened?
I quit. Oh, boy. And so 2nd and 9 here. And now, Jason, you and I were talking about the rules coming out here. And we were told that running clock doesn't take effect until the 4th quarter for the fans at home.
Yep, and it's different 11-man than 8-man. And so, again, hats off to the officiating crew. Got us straightened out at halftime and made sure that we were, I was never a genius at the referees. I always had something funny to yell, but I never knew what I was talking about. So it will be a running clock. If it stays this way, if Moscow can scratch and claw into getting a couple of scores and getting it down under 40, then it'll be a situation where they could keep it out of that situation. But they're going to need to pick up this first down.
And that was a run up the middle there from the Bears, but he was met with heavy resistance. Not able to pick anything up. It's going to be 3rd and 9. Now for Lewiston on their side of things, this is going to push them to 5-1 on the season. And next up, they've got their gauntlet of conference opponents, and that's typically how it goes for a lot of schools up around here. You got Post Falls, Lake City, and Coeur d'Alene. And, Jason, you and I are going to be in the booth down in Lewiston for one, if not 2, of those games.
Yeah, I look forward to that simply because of the fact that Lewiston plays a nice schedule, and then to have those 2 to finish the year at home is really kind of set up for them. And it's going to be fun to see how the 5As up here in the north really kind of match up. And Lewiston gets 2 out of 3 of them at home.
That's right, and Coeur d'Alene will certainly be a good one. Jason and I should be in the booth for that one. And, in years past, Coeur d'Alene's gotten the better of Lewiston. And Coeur d'Alene, they've just been a powerhouse program when it comes to District 2 here in the Inland Empire Conference. And Moscow will send this away. This one, they had some good protection and blocking. That's going to take a Moscow bounce, and it's going to end up at around the 50-yard line, and that's where the Lewiston offense will take over. Again, sprinkled in with a lot of JV players.
Yeah, and again, Moscow making sure the long game, their punt team was a lot better that time than they were the last couple of times. We talked about Friday Night Flash, a couple of 5A scores from up north. Sandpoint, who Lewiston just played last week, is up on Lake City 37-6.
So Sandpoint has kind of had an interesting season as Lewiston gets this drive started with a loss on the play. Good tackle off the edge there from the Bears. Sandpoint season's had an interesting spin on things as they actually had a game canceled against Colville. And then they had to come in and take on a really good Lewiston team. And so they were a little bit out of sorts, probably. Ultimately just having a week or so off of football. And then you got to show up, I guess, a little cold to take on the mighty Bengals. And they put on a great show.
Yeah, and I'm not taking anything away from last week's game, but Sandpoint, I think if they can get a couple of games in a row and no bye week and nobody cancels on them, it's going to be one of those situations where they're probably going to be playing better football in the weeks ahead.
Another run there from the Bengals. Going to pick up a couple. It's going to bring up 3rd and 8.
Another 5A far north score. Coeur d'Alene is playing Union Washington, and so there's no score on that one. It's in Coeur d'Alene, so a little early on that one yet.
3rd and 7. Screenplay on the far side of the field. Moscow had it red, and they're going to bring the Bengals down short of the first down yard to gain, and it's going to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, at the same time, that's good execution by your young guys from Lewiston. You didn't get the first down. You may go for it here. What the heck, roll the dice. But nice job of executing that screenplay. But, again, like you said, Moscow just kind of rallying up, using that down and distance against them, and put them in an interesting down and distance right here on 4th down in the loaded 3rd quarter.
4th and 3. Potential stop here for the Bears. They still have a lot of their starters out on defense. And as far as the size of the squads tonight, this is a quarterback punt here. And they punt it inside what a great punt there. But the gunner dove on the ball and flung it into the end zone. Certainly not what he was attempting to do, but good effort on his part.
Yeah, there was a good hustle down there. The rule is if the ball goes into the end zone, then it comes out to the 20. It looked like he was just trying to get down there and poke at the ball and keep it out of there. But, everybody has something to work on. I'm sure Coach Pancari is going to go up there and coach up that young man and say, okay, just by you touching it, could have probably killed the ball. If you dive on it like that, it might fling itself into the end zone like it did.
So 1st and 10 for the Bears as they get another crack here on offense. And got the likes of Camden Teagan here on the near side at wide receiver. Valesco fires a pass out to the far side of the field, breaks the tackle, and it looks like he got out past the first down sticks, and should be a 1st down for the Bears.
Yeah, and earlier in the game we talked about the Lewiston receivers and running backs really blocking for each other. That time, Moscow did a nice job of it. Guys getting out front, getting sticky with their blocks, not holding, obviously, because there's no yellow flag, but getting out there and helping him get a 1st down.
Now, for the fans at home, Jason, Coach Hansen, as we like to call him, he was a coach in the 1A D. Was it D1 at that time?
D1 at that time, way back in the old days.
So he was the head coach of the Genesee Bulldogs at the time. And now, Jason, I'm sure we've been on both sides of the scoreboard in moments like this. If you're on Lewiston's side, what are you telling your guys? If you're on Moscow's side, what are you telling your guys? Very different viewpoints at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And I think in some ways with Lewiston, like they are, you can, as Coach Pancari is, you just kind of adjust your roster, keep your kids playing hard like you mentioned. You don't really back off and just take a knee or anything crazy like that, but you keep your kids playing just by adjusting your roster and trying some base wrinkles. You don't have to get too exotic with what you're trying to run, but running a screenplay, that's what you do already, so go ahead and keep running that. And here on defense, you just get some young guys out here and stay kind of base with whatever they've been doing on their JV ball or their young guy ball. On Moscow's side, just forget about the scoreboard and again, get a score, get Coach Bafus, who I used to coach against. That's where all those jokes were going. I respect Coach Bafus with what he did at Troy and now what he's doing here at Moscow. And he's all about the long game. So he's trying to get these guys, a lot of them younger, set in what they're trying to do. Just execute plays like this one right here as it starts to break through the middle.
And
hit the gas, young man.
Could be on the board. Logan Tate, touchdown Bears.
And right on cue. Stay with what works. Get your guys some emotion, and get them in the end zone. First time in 2 weeks that they've had an offensive touchdown, and be excited about it. That's what you want. And Coach Bafus will just keep chipping away. Everybody's excited. A lot of guys, did a lot of good stuff on that. A lot of good blocking, and so now they'll be out here for the extra point.
So that cuts the lead to 41. 47-6 the score. And Moscow now out trying to kick the PAT. Kicking the PAT, it appears to be number 20, Tanner Feely. There's a snap, there's the hold. Kick is up. It's good. The PAT is good by the kick from Tanner Feely. Yeah, that makes the score 47-7. So, and some life here from the Moscow faithful after that, at least a 60-yard touchdown run from the likes of Logan Tate.
Yeah, and right on cue. I mean, that's what Moscow needs to do. Forget about the scoreboard and just worry about your stuff and keep spitting and polishing at it. And right there, Coach Bafus' guys run a kind of a base play. We've seen that play. This time it pops. Instead of him trying to stretch it to the outside, he just put his foot in the ground and got north-south and straight ahead and was able to kind of battle through a couple of arm tackles and did a nice job of getting that touchdown. And so now Coach Pancari's guys, okay, you've been punched in the mouth, young guys. Let's get out here and figuratively, not literally, let's come out here and match scores. That you're not just out here to get some playing time and have your name said on Idaho Sports. Let's get out here and get after it a little bit and see if you can't put some points up.
And we also want to take a moment to thank our power booster, Shorts Funeral Chapel, here for Moscow. And folks, again, just a reminder, we want to thank our major advertising partners, Project Filter, Valley-Wide Cooperative, the Idaho Transportation Department, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Next Steps Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. You'll be hearing from the Idaho Transportation Department at the end of the game as we talk about the IdahoSports.com player of the game. And Lewiston, we've got some options to pick from. So 47-7 the score here as Moscow's lined up to kick the ball away. Again, running clock doesn't start until the fourth quarter. And the kicking off of the Bears, number 20, Tanner Feely, back deep to receive for Lewiston. We've got some youngsters back there ready to catch this, and they catch it on the run. He's out past the 30, 35, and he drags his feet forward, and he's brought down out of bounds at the 40-yard line. So an excellent return there from Lewiston's return man. That is number 16, I want to say, Noah Carpenter.
Well, and that's what Coach Pancari's looking for. Okay, let's get a little life going on here and see if some of these young guys can't get to the house.
Now, Jason, from you and I have covered Moscow over the years as well. In years past, they had a wide receiver, maybe you can remember the name, who went to play for the Utah Utes. It was a pretty successful athletic family here for the Bears. The name is not coming to me.
Ellis. And
yeah.
in fact, one of the boys who played here is now playing for the New Orleans Saints.
The New Orleans Saints, that's right. Ellis, who went to the University of Idaho, and wasn't sure if he was undrafted or was drafted, but nonetheless, he's got a life in the NFL, not bad. And then his younger brother went off to the Utah Utes. So an athletic family to be sure. And so when you've had a program like that that's had talented athletes like the Ellis family, and all high schools go through this over time where they'll have moments of success And sometimes, like Coeur d'Alene, you're able to extend that and continue to build a program year after year. But sometimes you go through ebbs and flows, and that's what Moscow's dealing with at the moment.
Yeah, and that's where Coach Baif is coming in, kind of righting the ship. And not to say that Coach Helbling did a nice job and really spotlighted talent when he had it, and he did a nice job of getting them not just kind of around the playoffs, but into the playoffs. And so really one of those situations where I'm sure Coach Bafis is thinking, okay, this is the way we kind of build some things up and, even out the highs and the lows and just kind of ever steady get it heading in the right direction. And so Coach Bafis will do that, just like he is tonight. His young guys are playing hard. They're not giving up. They're giving big effort and trying to show out here with a nice defensive stand right here. Forced fourth down. Last time we saw this formation, the quarterback just punted it. I'm probably going to do it again.
4th and 4. And here is a quarterback punt. And that's got a nice spiral to it. It's going to come to rest at the 24-yard line on the fair catch from Michael Kiblin.
Yeah, and again, this is Moscow just kind of building a little momentum, getting some success, get that confidence up. They're going to be heading into Sandpoint Lakeland. That's their league here pretty soon, and so it's going to be important for them to make sure they're as sharp as they possibly can be when they wrestle with those guys. So now it's going to be Lewiston's turn to try and make sure Moscow doesn't sting them. They weren't exotic with what they just did. You just got to make sure that you're able to stop the basics.
And for Moscow, when they take on Sandpoint, they're going to need some sharpness with them because Sandpoint currently leads 44-6 with 5:18 left in the fourth in that game against, was it Lake City, Jason?
Yeah, Lake City, yep, that's right.
And Lake City, by the way, is a team that will be taking on Lewiston later this season. They're in the Inland Empire Conference for 5A, and so they'll do battle later this season in Lewiston. And or is that at Lake City? It's one of the.
It's in Lewiston.
It's in Lewiston.
We get that game.
So Lewiston's got a very favorable schedule to wrap up their season with most, if not all, their games at home, and they could very well be looking at a setup for a playoff run. And again, Lewiston will be 5-1 after this game here. And a slant route for number 22 for Moscow. That was Camden Teagan on the reception.
Yeah, nice job.
Excuse me. Sorry, Jason.
Sorry about that. A lot better execution. We talked about Velasco just kind of standing in there and delivering the ball. This time he does it. Nice job securing it by the receiver and picking up just a couple of yards, get the sticks moved, and better execution than we saw earlier.
So 1st and 10 now on the slant pattern from Teagan. And back to passes. Valesco throws it out to Teagan once again, but Teagan is hit and brought down. Excellent tackle there from the cornerback. That is, again, looks like a JV guy or a guy we haven't called before. That's number 26 from Lewiston, Keegan Brooks.
Yeah, and that's you got stung on the first down, and then they come back to something similar, and he showed a little bit more gamesmanship by rattling it up a lot faster, and they weren't able to get anything. In fact, it looks like they lost some.
So 2nd and 11 now after the loss of yardage. Ball spotted at the 34-yard line. 4 receivers in the set here for Moscow. Trips to the far side. Valesco, it's going to be a screen pass, and that is almost intercepted. That was number 43 from Lewiston with the heads-up play, Sean Remical.
Boy, and that's one of those where he'd like to have that back. All those D linemen do that drill, especially in the summertime where you're out there trying to make sure you got a kind of a filler drill, and nice job of putting his big paws up there and almost running away with it. I like the play call, just kind of keeping him more honest as far as the pass rush. But, boy, talk about sneaking away with possession there instead of losing it on that interception.
Yeah, at this point in time, it's like we just got a kid out on the field with some cramps. As usually when the third or fourth quarter comes along, that's usually when we start seeing stuff like that. 2 minutes, 33 seconds to go here in the third. Again, running clock will usually take effect in the fourth quarter at this point.
Well, and the double down on your cramps point that, some of these guys they get to play a lot of times on an early Friday, but one of those where the emotions are high. You get to be out here under the lights, and you might have been thinking, well, maybe I'll sneak around and play a couple of plays, and here you're out here for quite a while.
Hey, he's up and at him, walking off the field. Good to see.
Won't be long. A little Gatorade. Hey, Coach, I'm ready to get back out there.
That's right. So Moscow will come back onto the field, and they're looking at a 3rd and 12 here. Now, the crazy thing is, folks, Moscow, even though they're starting the season 0-5, 0-6 at this rate, they still have a chance to, if they, and here's a pass play here to Michael Kiblin, makes the catch and gets close to the first down marker. It may just be short by the way they marked it.
Well, and I like the emotion of the crowd kind of getting behind him. And as he was getting more cheers, he seemed to get a little bit more push, but I'm not sure he got close enough to that first down.
But as I was saying with Moscow, if they technically won all 3 of their conference games, or 2 conference games rather, that's almost kind of a playoff scenario there where, hey, they could very well pull off some magic and sneak in to a playoff scenario.
100%. I bet you that's exactly what Coach Bafis is thinking. You know what? When that gets to that point where we're just playing league games, we are just going to be in the playoffs starting week 1. So kind of get a different attitude, hopefully reinvigorate your guys, and use nights like tonight to keep getting a little better and work on those executions. He had a little bit more time. He had pass rush in his face earlier in the game. Now he's kind of got a little time, set those feet, deliver a good hard ball.
And that ball there was behind the intended target. That was number 11, Alex Thrall, on the slant. It was just behind him.
Just that execution. Sorry, Garrison. He was 4th and short. He was past the sticks. If he'd have caught it or the ball had been delivered to him, that probably is the first down. They keep it. But instead, here in the third quarter, 1:25 left on the clock.
So Lewiston takes over. Ball spot at the 45-yard line, and they hand the ball up the middle. And they're able to pick up 5 or 6 yards there on the carry. Pickup of 6 there, Philip Ridley on the tackle. And now Lewiston gets the call from the sideline. They're still in that go-go offense. Even the backups are out and running this. 3 down linemen for the Bears. And they take the snap. It's an option play here. They pitch it out to the far side. They try to get to the sideline, but excellent containment from Michael Kiblin, who brings the runner down. And, I don't know, Michael. Maybe with the scoreboard the way it is.
Yeah. You still like the emotions a little bit. I like the old school option play right there where you don't see it the way it used to be, where you kind of read off of the defensive end and then you flip it backwards. But nice execution right there, getting them closer to a first down. But Moscow is ready to put the stops on it.
47-7 here. And Lewiston trying to drive down the field. It's 3rd and manageable, and they've got the first down and more.
And we either have a scrum or maybe a fumble. I'm not 100% sure. Looked like everybody kind of dove in there at the end.
First down for the Bengals, and the backups got the chains moving again.
Well, and I think that's what he's got to get Coach Pancari a little grumpy. Not mad, just a little grumpy, the fact that the execution. They've played pretty well from the 25 to the 25. They just haven't seemed to have gotten it in the end zone there, the young guns. So kind of one of those where they got to keep their foot on the gas and work on sharpening up here as they get closer to the red zone.
And that is the end of the third quarter. Folks, we've played 3. Our score here in Moscow, Lewiston 47, Moscow Bears 7. And we're just going to go ahead and keep it right here on IdahoSports.com. You're watching District 2. Now, Jason and I are going to be taking a break next week. I'm going to be at a national conference for work in Knoxville, Tennessee. where I just made that up to get an excuse to go watch the Tennessee Volunteers.
There you
play.
go.
No, not really. But I got a national conference there with a TV show and podcast called Cross Politic, and then I'll be making my way back, and we'll be picking up again coverage here in District 2 next week.
Well, heck, you should go over and see the Vols. I'm not really a Vols fan, but they are coached by a former Oklahoma coach, or a player rather. Josh Heupel is their coach. So it all comes back to the OU anyway. So I hope you have a great trip. Normally you take a week off so I can go look at college football somewhere, but now I'm jealous of you.
That's right. And Tennessee Volunteers actually having a good season thus far. They obviously haven't played the Crimson Tide yet, but they took down Florida recently, if I'm not mistaken. And Lewiston tries to get and we've got ourselves a flag there, some extracurriculars. And, this is something that from time to time happens when the score is the way it is. Just emotions run high. They're still out there fighting, being physical. Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, that's true. And it's one of those where we talked about how looks like there's pretty good pay dirt, little blocks down the sidelines. Lewiston's had a lot of success over on that sideline. So, eventually it kind of wears a guy out and maybe a little extra. But, at least they're battling and struggling for it, and you don't want to just give them a touchdown.
Now we do have the clock has stopped. So I thought it was running clock, but is it a certain amount of points, Jason?
Maybe it's 45. I'm not 100% sure at this point. Me and 11-man never really got along, so.
First and 10. Ball's inside the 20. Another red zone opportunity for the Bengals. First time for the backups, maybe, as they hand off a sweep to the far side. They've got an opening, and it's a touchdown. Lewiston punches it in the red zone, and that makes the score 53-7.
Well, and that's got to make Coach Pancari excited about his young guys as well. That we talked about them trying to finish here at the red zone and keep working hard on their game to get them better as well. So get to pay dirt, and then we get to practice that extra point like they've been working on.
Kick is up and good, and that makes the score 54-7 in favor of the Lewiston Bengals. So smooth sailing night for Lewiston as they are going to move their way to 5-1 on the season. And again, they've got some all-important games coming up to the last 3 games of their schedule. The clock is stopped, but then again, the clock does stop for kickoffs and timeouts.
Right, and so there's kind of a little bit of discussion here. It looks like they are going to go ahead and run it at this point, but the main thing is getting some. Oh no, they got it stopped again. But the main part is to get that positive experience for your kids. Moscow's got to get some more offensive confidence and get some reps against some different shirts, and Lewiston gets an opportunity to put some maybe younger guys in and keep getting them some experience here on a Friday night. We made the big trip up the hill. It's not very far between Lewiston and Moscow, so let's go ahead and get up the hill and get experience. Fortunately for everybody, McDonald's is probably closed except for drive-thru, so hope we got something waiting in the bus.
Tonight might be a gas station night for me, Jason. I just you get the munchies at this hour, you just got to take advantage.
There you go.
So Lewiston once again set to kick this off. Great special teams coverage all night. And this one's just going to be kind of a spiral kick down the middle. It's picked up inside the 10 by Michael Kiblin. Stiff arms a defender, but the defender hangs on and brings him down. Good tackle there, and that's going to bring the ball to the 15-yard line, and that's where the Bears will take over this time.
Yeah, excellent job there by the young gun coverage team. Not necessarily the most glamorous where he's giving you a stiff arm and you tackle him that way, but he was able to get him down, and he gets the defensive point for that. Trying to be that player of the game.
That's right, and got to give a shout-out to the Lewiston Bengals kickoff team, as every time Moscow's probably best field position was when a kick went out of bounds, because other than that, they were either in a touchback or they were brought back inside the 25. So excellent kickoff coverage for Lewiston. Coach Pancary's got to be happy about that.
That's right, and again, that's just spitting and polishing it all facets of the game. Going to need it later on and once in the playoffs.
So Valesco throws a pass over the middle, and it is incomplete. The intended target was Logan Tate, who's got the Bears' only touchdown on the night. So he's hoping to bring another.
And again, Moscow just staying with who they are, running through their playbook, trying to get better at what they do, and not get exotic, because we haven't seen a triple reverse, quadruple pass or anything like that. Just trying to get better at their plays and trying to make sure everybody's comfortable with what they're supposed to do.
And folks, just a reminder, the Idaho Transportation Department's Player of the Game will be announced for IdahoSports.com. Will be announced after the game. Jason and I have got to have a discussion on who that will be. But again, that is courtesy of our sponsors with the Idaho Transportation Department. So tune in before we sign off here tonight. And that was Camden Teagan on the reception.
And again, nice job there by the defense just rallying up. He kind of found that soft spot, but they were right there ready to bear down on him and get him down. And these young guys from Lewiston playing really well. I think that was number 45 from Lewiston. Got to flip my page over here. Maybe 46, Phineas Crow.
Now as we head into October, time is flying already, and the cooler temperatures are starting to come out here in District 2. Jason, I think we'll be in jackets going forward.
Yeah, it's sad to say this might be our last T-shirt night. This Moscow press box is nice.
Valesco, a bullet route over the middle. It's intercepted. Logan Tate had the ball but dropped it right into the hands of a Lewiston defender. Just unfortunate stuff there, but another turnover forced by this Bengals defense. That's their third of the night.
Yeah, I think that's Connor Fry maybe right there, or Keegan Brooks. Again, that darn yellow numbers. I hate to keep complaining. Paul needs to send us some binoculars apparently, but again, nice job by the defense just coming to play. They don't have much time left now that the clock is running. Under 8 minutes left in the game. Making the most of the opportunity as we get a run right up ahead. He bounces to the left side, outside, down the sideline.
And what a run there from the Lewiston. Again, the Lewiston backups are just in there doing their job. That was number 29, Jaden Cobley. We've called his name before, the sophomore JV running back.
Yeah, he's got the dirty shirt to prove it.
So that's a big first down run there for the Bengals, and they're going to try to put some more points on the board with 70 minutes and counting. And it is a running clock at this point in time. We have confirmed that. 3 wide receivers in the set, 2 backs in the backfield. And they're going to hand this one off to Carpenter, who tries to get around the edge on the outside, but good containment from the defensive end, and that was Emmy Qualls on the tackle.
Yeah, nice job by Qualls. Talking about that defensive end, they've tried to run to the outside a number of times. This time just getting a little bit better and a little bit better, and they get it stopped for a little short gain instead of a long one down the sideline.
6.5 to go. And Lewiston is the go-go offense is now more of the go-stop offense as they're taking their time and letting the clock run. And that's something I think that Coach Pancari is going to want to pay attention to as the season progresses, just because with Lewiston, as we've noticed, Jason, they have the ability to quickly pounce on any given team. And there's a touchdown.
And right on cue, right? By getting them up on the ball that quickly allows them to look over at their coaches, get a little bit of a sharper call as to what they want, maybe a little bit of a, okay, you've given it, now keep it for a touchdown. Nice job right there. But just like you're saying, just kind of playing along with how fast do you want to break the huddle, how fast do you want to get them out of their blocks or out of their set formations. Do you want to use motion to kind of use up a little clock? I think they're ready for that next evolution of that. So Coach Pancare's just got to be happy with now that the JVs are really starting to click also.
You and I have covered a lot of Lewiston football over the past couple of years. When Coach Pancari took over 3 to 4 years ago, I'm not sure exactly when. Pretty sure it was 3 to 4.
I hate to say it, but it was 5 or 6.
You're right.
We're getting to be old guys.
Oh, my gosh. What was me? So, when he took over, Lewiston was kind of in a transition period in that they had lost a lot of talent. And he took over. He had some talented guys like Tyson Wallace is a guy that comes to mind, one of the first quarterbacks I called for Lewiston. And he has built the program from a much smaller-looking squad with not a lot of strength maybe, and just maybe more speedster athletes on the outside, to now a team that, and that was always the criticism with Lewiston when they got into playoffs, they would play against Boise schools, and the Boise schools would just run it down their throat, and there was nothing that Lewiston could do about it. Well, now Lewiston's got some size of their own, and it looks like they're ready to maybe compete with the big boys. We saw them take down Capital earlier this year, and yes, Capital's in a bit of transition of their own, but Capital was a team that absolutely demolished Lewiston in the playoffs last year. Lewiston comes right back around and smashes them in week 1.
Well, and that, just like you said, that now we have more depth. They have more talent. They've hit the weight room. Coach Pancari's personality is really just starting to broaden out, and he's really created quite a powerhouse up here. And you're not just looking at 1 or 2 guys. You're looking at guys that now are several players deep, and it's nights like tonight that really kind of start to, flower that out a little bit more, where guys are just not basketball guys who can maybe come in and be a receiver, but he's building football players in Lewiston, and now all of a sudden they're starting to be able to do some things and make sure you're set up for several weeks into the season, into the playoffs, but also set up for years to come.
So Kiblin takes that from inside the 10, and it gets out to the 20. But another thing for Lewiston, I think that maybe is a little underrated, is just the facility upgrade that they've recently gone through as a school. They recently had the old Lewiston High School building. It's not demolished, it's still there, but they're no longer there, and they've got a beautiful new facility outside of Lewiston, out in the orchards, and eventually that's going to be a new football facility there as well.
Yeah, and that's probably a little bit down the road, but the basketball facility, volleyball is awesome. Also one of those situations where they have built a tech facility. LCSC, a college down in the LC Valley, has built a tech facility, more of a training facility for CAD and drafting stuff, as well as welding and auto mechanics. And so that's practically on their high school campus. And so having an eye for not only the educational part, but also the athletic part, and being able to build a facility that they can really kind of grow into and allow more of the JV size. And, you're never really going to be Texas per se, but after going to Texas and what they have as far as this, that, and the other, that's just going to help Coach Pancari get more and more guys out of the hallway and out on the football field. Is to hey, we're going to have more guys. There's more room for the fans to spread out. There's a little bit more, if you make the trip up to Lewiston, you're not going to be sitting on the small bleachers across the way. They actually have a concession stand maybe on the other side. So it's just one of those where it's just going to grow and grow and grow and be something that Coach Pancari and crew can be really proud of.
Hey, that's something I remember that years ago. There was a vote, and there was some pushback on this for Lewiston, whether or not they wanted to build a new high school, and there's certainly some tax considerations going into effect with that one. But nonetheless, they decided to go forward with the project, and they've got a beautiful basketball facility. The weight room is top-notch. They're going to have that football field, like you mentioned, and ultimately, that one of the pro new school building points was the ability to bring in new and another interception here. Another interception there from the Lewiston defense. That is their 4th forced turnover of the day. And Jason, did you see a number on that one?
I'm going to guess Jaden Cobley again.
Cobley has certainly maybe catching some attention on the Lewiston sideline. Coach Pancari probably taking note of his performance tonight. But
yeah, for sure. One, it puts them on par with the 5A schools down in Boise Valley and all of that, where they tend to be building new schools, new facilities, and it just makes a better educational experience for everybody, not just football players, but everybody. You think about Moscow, they have a big crew of kids here tonight, a lot of school spirit going on, and a lot of things they can be proud of. Their student section has not left, no matter what the score is, and no matter whether it's running clock or not. And so it's one of those where there's still a lot of people here, and the parking lot's still full.
So we're at 3.5 minutes left in the game here. 61-7 is the score, and I just realized I had the scoreboard wrong there. So now it's correct. 61-7. You're welcome. And Lewiston, they've got another first down here, and they're driving forward as the clock will continue to roll. But the state of Idaho continues to grow, one of the most moved to states in the country. And so as I was going to say with my point for this Lewiston High School is now suddenly Lewiston much more of a viable option when you've got such a solid facility in the valley. And that's certainly going to be a draw to young families potentially moving into the valley.
Yeah, and lots of jobs and yeah, you want your kids to go to, and they have the tech school, like I said already, right there. So that's also a nice facility.
2.5 minutes and counting, and Lewiston is very content to just slow the tempo down, slow the go down, and now we've got a running back getting to the near side of the field, and that's a touchdown. Lewiston puts another 6 on the board. But we do have a flag on the play, so I'm not going to change the scoreboard yet, but they're pointing at Moscow's side of things.
And we have the arms up by the white hat.
It's offset. Unless I just missed the call. So 67-7 here, pending the official call. Now the officials are walking over, maybe seeing what Coach Pancari wants to do. Folks, just a reminder before it is against Moscow, so the touchdown stands. 67-7 will be the score pending the PAT. And folks, just a reminder before you shut us off for the night, we will be coming up with the Idaho Transportation Department, IdahoSports.com player of the game. Jason and I have got some stuff to talk about regarding who we should give that to. Maybe it's the kicker here who just knocked through another PAT.
Yeah, scoring some more points.
68-7, the score, and the Lewiston machine is alive and well, and those axles look greased and ready to go.
Well, and that's exactly what Coach Pancari is wanting. Not only, again, does this bode well for this year, but he's also got, the team of 2023 and 2024 out there. They're clicking along. And so Coeur d'Alene loses to Union of Washington 40-20. And Lake City loses to Sandpoint 51-6. And Post Falls, still no score. They're taking on Mount Spokane. And probably nobody here is following the old Genesee Bulldogs, but they come up short against CV, 62-22.
.2:17 left in the game here, and as soon as the ball is kicked, the clock will start running again, and it'll stay that way. And again, for Lewiston, they've got a lot to play for this season, and the penalty was enforced on the kickoff. So that's going to, oh my goodness, the Bengals are going to be kicking off from the 45-yard line in Moscow territory. so they could potentially kick a field goal from here. No, not really. But that would be a cool rule, I think.
That would be a cool rule. I also think they should have a pole in the middle of it. If you hit that pole, you get 4 points.
Oh, there you go.
So many kickers now are, getting the old doink off the pole thing. Let's give them an extra point if they hit it.
And here's the kick, well into the end zone for a touchback, and the Bears will take over at the 20.
Practically hit the concession stand booth over there.
Now Moscow takes over. They still got Valesco in there, slinging the ball around. If nothing else, a good time to work on some concepts and routes with his receivers. He's got a minute and a half to work with and counting.
Yeah. Same time, that might be the old just send him on some verticals and see if you can't wing it, because it's not going to stop the clock at this point. And
takes a snap, drops back, looking, and hey, it's a wheel route, similar. Michael Kiblin, did he catch that? It looks like it was a catch, but there was also some pass interference on the defense there.
Well, Coach Bafa's got to be happy about that. That's a nice little snag right out here on the old sidelines. You pick up the yardage. Better hustle, though. You got a little momentum. Send him deep on another one, see if you can't get in the end zone.
I think Moscow's got a strategy here. That's the second time where they've just sent it and gotten pass interference call out of it. So going forward, vertical every play. That's how it works in Madden.
There you go.
Pistol formation here for the Bears. And they hand this one off up the middle. I believe that was Toby Fry. And he's tripped up. Excuse me, that wasn't Toby Fry. That was number 25, Sam Young, a junior.
Looks like this might be the last play with 15 seconds left. They're going to have to hustle as they break the huddle.
Last play of the game. And they send it deep over the top. And it is caught. This is by Logan Tate. Can he keep it going? And he's going to be stood up, and that's going to be forward progress there. And that is going to do it. That's the final play of the game. The Lewiston Bengals take the win 68-7 over the Moscow Bears. The Bengals also improved to 5-1, whereas the Bears fall to 0. And just want to make sure I've got that right. They fall to 0-6 on the season. But again, still some stuff to play for there when their conference games come to town. So, folks, Jason and I got to talk about the IdahoSports.com player of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Transportation Department. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
You can't make summer stand still, so make the most of every last second with a new Toyota at Toyota's National Sales Event.
During Toyota's National Sales Event, discover our wide variety of fuel-efficient electrified vehicles. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to IdahoSports.com on District 2. As the Lewiston Bengals just improved to 5-1 on the season. They've won 5 straight games, and they're just rolling right along, and they did so tonight with a 68-7 win over the Moscow Bears. But, Jason, before we call it an evening tonight, we got to name the IdahoSports.com player of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Transportation Department.
Well, it's one of those where Lewiston had a number of players come to play tonight. Obviously, the kicker was lighting up the scoreboard there a little bit, as well as the the young guns got in there. Jaden Cobley had a couple of interceptions, got to carry the ball a number of times, and a couple of return yards as well. So he was three aspects. But really, Hottinger with 3 touchdowns would be our Idaho Sports Player of the Game.
Well, you heard it here there first. You know, some could argue that we maybe took it from Hottinger last week. But, hey, we had to give Briggs Duman the nod on that one for his crucial interceptions in that game. And so, IdahoSports.com player of the game, Lewiston Bengals quarterback Drew Hottinger, 3 touchdowns and an impact felt all over the field. That's going to do it for us tonight here in District 2 on IdahoSports.com. Folks, again, our final score, the Lewiston Bengals 68, the Moscow Bears 7. For Jason Hanson, I'm Garrison Hardy. So long, everybody.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com GameStreams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of IdahoSports.com is strictly prohibited.